Galactic Soul, the Honorable Brother, the Revolutionary yourself, Darius Lockhart, and I'm here to tell you to watch Powerbombshells every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. That's right, every Sunday at 1 p.m., and that's on time, every time, because when we stand together, what time is it? That's right, it's nation time.
Welcome to Powerbombshells episode 216. I'm Mel, that's Sam. We're just two broads talking about the wrestling we like, and I'm a Katamari today.
I love it. Mel was like, hold on. She's like, before we go on air, I have to show you something. And I was not disappointed.
Guys, I went to my first Detroit City FC game. It was a doubleheader, men's and women's. They did not come out on top, but that is okay because I got the first 500 people got this cool hat, which so it was like meant to be. And it's got the city badge on it, which is awesome. City forever. And it was Pride weekend. So happy Pride weekend. We honor our people in the community. Be yourself. They had a wonderful drag show in between the one of our famous drag dance teams was doing a thing at the halftime for the ladies. They had the kids do the halftime for the men's, which they do a lot at those games. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. It made me think because so if you're a Katamari player, if you know, you roll things around. I mean, I'm just like, but one of the presents you get for your Katamaris is an umbrella hat thing. Like you get an umbrella and it's like a hat. And I didn't realize it until we were sitting here and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I should be rolling. That's the story of the hats. Like, it's like, I didn't plan this, but I looked on the app and it was like, oh, the first 500 people get a like umbrella thing. And it's like, it's a hat.
It's even better. Does both.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. And
before thinking about Powerbombshells.
Before we get any further, obviously, happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are watching. If you are still like me and lucky enough to have your father in your life, and you have a good relationship with him or with that person, hopefully you're able to, if you're not able to see them today, make sure that you reach out and let them know that you're thinking of them, and if a father figure who was in your life, make sure you do that. And also, happy summer solstice.
Oh my gosh, it's a big weekend this weekend.
It is a big weekend. It is the solstice, and I am usually I'm somebody who works with the moon a lot, but I have really been wanting to connect to sun's energy for the last week and a half, last couple of weeks. And so right now I did it last year, but it was funny because my mom used to do it when she was like in the 70s. And then I think we've done it a few times, but so I'm making sun water as we speak. It's sitting out on the deck. And so I figured by the time that the podcast was over, I could probably bring it back in. Some of it I'm just making later. I actually have a solstice tea that I'll be making later tonight with the sun water, but I also grabbed a packet of chamomile for one of them just to have like a bright colored tea. And then like I went last Saturday, I went to a intuitive tea blending workshop, and and it was great. I definitely would love to do it again. But I ended up buying a tea from her that's like a vitality. It's like an energy tea. And I was like, oh, that'll be perfect. I can use sun water with but it's loose leaf. So I didn't make it now because I would have to put it in a thing and all that. And I was like, I'll just make sun water and then I'll use that for my energy tea this week and see how that does. And so I'm really excited about that. And then I'll do some other sun related things. I bought a sun candle yesterday, and I'll change out I do seasonal altars. It just was something that I randomly did like almost 5 years ago now. And so so today I will put together my one for the summer, which I'm looking forward to. So I went and bought candles for that yesterday, and I have each thing per season. I just kind of collected stuff, and then I specifically started because I do altars for each season. Like I look for things to add to it. And
that's cool. I like that. Yeah, it's good to know, actually, just for me to know, because I can be like, ooh.
Yes.
This would be good for Sam for summer or winter.
Yeah, I was looking, I have a ton of incense, and I was like, oh, I forgot that I used all my sun incense, and so I don't have anything. I was like, That's just more.
I mean, I'm a big sun worshiper, but I'm very pro moon because me and the moon I just love the moon. I've always found it fascinating. If you believe the moon.
Yes, I do. I'm somebody who works with the moon a lot. I work with the moon phases a lot. And so not that I ignore the sun, but I don't connect with the sun in the way that I do with the moon, which I know is such a weird thing.
I figured it out though, because you talked about it with me, and I realized I totally am an earth sign because I love the planet and I am like a total earth worshiper. But then I love the sun because of how important it is to the earth. Mm-hmm. And again, and in the grand tradition of George Carlin, I also worship the sun because I can see it. So there's that whole issue.
There is also that, yes.
I mean, it's the way around. It works for kind of all phases of my life, and so it's just one of those things. But
so, Maria, because I actually make moon water almost every full moon. If it's not cloudy, I almost always make full moon water and use it. Usually I just use it to drink and use the moon's energy. But the sun obviously is the opposite of that. You just leave it in the sun for a few hours. But my mom was talking, like, people have done this forever, even people who aren't, like, I guess necessarily into some of the spirituality aspects that I'm into. They just made it, and you set the sun water out. You just put it in a glass jar. You leave it out for like 4 to 6 hours or something like that. Some people, like the chamomile I'm making right now, I just put in a tea packet right in it and put it out. Like, it's just sitting in there, and the sun will it'll steep in the sun basically.
We just call it, see, this is so funny because from where I'm from, my best friend's mom used to do it all the time, and I've done it since. We just call it sun tea.
Yeah.
Like, I usually take like a black tea and some, like, because lemon, it has citric, and I know that from canning and everything, that anything with citric acid, like, that's good for you to keep the bacteria away. And like, but I do the same. That's so funny. And then this year, you would be so proud of me. I actually bought a tea strainer for my cup. I've been going, like, I'm all into loose leaf teas this year.
Yeah, I have a ton.
I know you do, and I was like, I keep meaning to tell Sam that I started doing loose leaf teas, and it's a lot. Yeah, of fun.
I didn't get, like, I've always been, obviously being in the South, I've always been somebody who drinks sweet tea, and I still do. But within the last, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I've really gotten into herbal teas, and I have like a variety of them. And so I do a lot of the loose leaves, and sometimes I do the packets just because it's easier. And like, especially, like, I love Earl Grey. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to get. Like, Nikki got me some for my birthday or for Christmas. Like, so I had that, and I almost made Earl Grey tea today. And I was like, oh, you know what? Do the chamomile, and it's already getting that nice yellow color. So I was like, I'll do that. And
chamomile is my favorite. I love it in the after, or like in the late time. I love it for evenings. It's my favorite evening, and it's my favorite chill. Me and that family of herbs just like each other. We're friends.
Yes, calendula is another really good tea that's kind of in that same family. And Nikki uses. I drink calendula too, but Nikki also drinks it because it helps with, like, stomach upset and things like that.
Know.
So calendula is really good for that. And so it's like so when I made the tea last week, I was really drawn to, like, bright teas, and so, like, I made, mine was calendula, damiana, and lemon verbena. And I was like, well, I'll just put it, like, and I love hibiscus, and they had some. So I was like, but I know hibiscus can overpower. And so I'll put a half a teaspoon, because I have my allergy tea that I drink every, like, spring has hibiscus in it, but it has other stuff. So it's not, it's not the thing that I can taste the most. But that hibiscus, like, overpowered it. So she let us take another set of tea home. So I made the exact same tea without the hibiscus. So good. I was like, hey, look at me creating a tea.
I love it.
And so I was like, she's getting, I think she was talking about she's going to try to make, like, a course of, like, learning about blending, like, right. Because she does a lot of her teas. Like, she was like, I'm an herbalist, so, like, I know, like, what things work together, but also I'm intuitive, and, like, I use my intuition on what I think, especially if a person needs this or that, like, if they're having this issue, or even just for herself. And so she said she's working on putting a tea course together that I think is going to be doing in person, because there's online ones, but I was like, no, I want to do this, like, in person. Like,
I feel like seeing someone do it, like, more, like, right in person. And I was reading, because as I started to do loose leaf, I started reading, there's, like, all these things. They're like, don't make it when you're mad, and don't, like,
right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have even known that if I hadn't read this.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and I mean, there definitely are times like if I can tell that if I need something that like there are teas that I will like go for if I'm feeling a certain way. But yeah, I try to make sure that I'm like not in a, unless it's like, but sometimes if it's like
helping bring you back, like it's a grounding exercise.
Yeah, so if it's a grounding thing, then like I use it for that for sure. But yeah, I try to drink it like throughout the year, even though it gets hot. Some of them I will just make into like an iced tea, or I'll make it and then I'll just put it in the refrigerator until I'm ready for it.
Because that's literally the kind of thing, because I got that from my best friend's mom, used to make big jugs of sun tea, and she would just put the packets in there and she would put it out in the sun until whatever. And then when she was done, she would just stick it in her fridge. And that was like all we drank. And that's because like it's Midwesterners and Southerners, because this is hilarious. So I went back for my cousin's wedding in December, and I live here in the Midwest and you live down in the South. So we can get an Arnold Palmer any time of the year.
Yes.
But I forgot about the colonies, and I went home for a wedding in December, and I wasn't really drinking at the wedding because I was with a crowd that weren't. And I was like, whatever, can I just have, I like iced tea lemonade? And they're like, oh, we don't have iced tea this time of year. And I'm like, oh, duh, I forgot about you people. You don't have this stuff year round. We have it on the spigot at our every single place.
Yeah, exactly.
Has it.
Right.
I forgot all about it. And my dad used to travel, and he would go to the South a ton in like the middle of the country. And so he would come back and be like, they have tea all the time, because he was like an iced tea drinker. He loved iced tea. And like he even got like one of those first I know they have them now, but when Mr. Coffee first came out with that like iced tea maker, the auto one, my dad was on that. He was so like, hell yeah, because that's all we drank in the summer was iced tea. Like, he was like, as soon as it got minutely warm, it was like, time for the iced tea, kids. We're only drinking iced tea and a little bit of lemon juice in there. Deal with it.
It's so funny because my mom is somebody who will drink lemon in her tea, but my sister and I and our dad do not like lemon in our tea. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, my mom
they make it sweeter where you are, right? Though they keep it's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely sweet all the time. And we always have tea. I mean, we try to like limit our tea intake because obviously it's not great for us. So like I try to tea we have because there's sugar, because we are heavy tea drinkers. So I try to, if I can, depending on what I'm having at lunch, I try to only drink tea at dinner if I can. I like
That's
try.
Fair.
It's not the easiest thing to do, but I drink water a lot. And it's easier in the fall and the winter because I'm like, I can just make herbal tea in the morning and drink it with my breakfast and things like that. And then in the spring and summer, it's definitely harder because I'm like, I don't want to wait for it. So yeah, I'm trying to get back in the habit of drinking it, making it in the morning and things like that. But I think, but like this energy tea, I think I'm going to try it in the afternoon and see how that does, because the energy stuff is like definitely changes more. And so I was like, I think maybe drinking it in the afternoon, I'm going to try that and see. So
you'll have to let me know. I'm actually curious now.
I will.
I'm jealous of your tea. I'm like jealous of your tea teacher. First of all, I'm gonna have to find out if that's a thing around here. I want
to go to her house because she apparently she had a thing yesterday, but I didn't get to go because I had to work. But she was doing a solstice event at her house yesterday. But apparently she has like 100 herbs at her house that she's like growing on her property, and some of it she learned from. Also, she has a lot of the herbs from her tea class because she had to learn about them. So she's got like, she was saying that she has a lot jarred and all this stuff, and I was like, about to be my new friend.
I am glad you found her.
Me too. I was very excited.
I will ultimately benefit from whatever you learn.
This is true. I can share it. We can have tea corner.
We can
Sam.
spill tea about actual tea.
There, exactly.
Wild.
So I want to go back to, hang on, before there's some more. Maria said that she is a lemonade person.
I love lemonade.
You know what? I don't know why I've never been, like, I love the way it smells.
I'm so pro lemonade.
I'm not a lemonade person. I never have been.
I get it.
But I love the smell. Like when I went to a couple of weeks ago, when I went to that farm to get herbs, they were making fresh squeezed lemonade on the spot, and it smells so good. Maybe I would have liked that because it was actually fresh lemonade. Maybe it would have been
fresher is better. but I'm a lemonade nerd because I like sour things. Now I'm not quite my sister. She used to as like a party trick when she was a kid, because this is no joke. She used to just eat lemons straight and no one could understand it. It would freak people out. And she would just do it because she was who she was, and she'd be like, yep, like right into
Nikki said she only likes lemon in her tea when it's Long Island. The Long Island.
fair. This is fair. I like me a good Arnold Palmer. I just like that lemonade and tea mix. It's a solid spring and summer around here when it gets hot, and I don't want to keep drinking because like there's obviously around here, and I'm sure where you are, and if you want to drink alcoholic beverages, the summertime is one of those times when they all go down very smooth.
Yeah.
But this is not a healthy way of life, in my personal opinion. So I have to limit the intake of that. And Arnold Palmers are safer. And like you said, some of them are sugary and stuff like that. So you got to be careful. And it depends on whose tea it is. But I mean, I do appreciate living in the Midwest, and because I can like always have that, even if it's like I don't feel like drinking tonight, but I'll have an Arnold Palmer. The backup here in Michigan, which is awesome, is a Verner's, which is a ginger ale, which is made in Michigan. It's a cure-all. We actually suggested shipping it to the COVID people because here in Michigan, the cure for everything is room temperature Verner's and an Alka-Seltzer, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
And the Alka-Seltzer is optional. If you get yourself a room temperature Verner's, that shit'll cure cancer. Like,
well, apparently I needed that a couple of years ago.
It's maybe you had some, or maybe because you knew me, I was like the energy of the Verner's.
Here we go.
Being pushed in your direction.
And so then the surgery was all.
And I mean, I say that in jest, but actually it's hilarious here because really, honestly, like it's the thing that everyone goes to. Kind of like, I know you probably are from like room temperature ginger ale was a thing when you were growing up too, but because Verner's is from here, and I looked it up, it was actually made by a pharmacist helping his patients using ginger root. So he actually, but it still tastes like ginger ale, which I like because most of the ginger ales to me taste more like sugar than ginger. And I like the ginger taste in those. Yeah. And ginger is also good for your insides. So,
it is. Crash asked if we had red lemonade, or is that purely a UK Ireland thing? I don't think I have ever heard of red lemonade.
Is it the color of the no, I've never heard of that. Is that now I'm curious though. Now I wish I had tried it. Now we need explanation. What is this?
Nikki said also for Pickle Bombshells Corner, she got some dill pickle sunflower seeds yesterday.
What do you think? Did you guys try them yet?
I don't know if she. No, we haven't tried it yet.
Okay,
wait, she might have. We also found.
I just remembered too. This just happened to me recently because I went to a festival, and I may have mentioned this last time we talked, but maybe I didn't. I have known for years, and I've never told you or Nikki, and I don't know why. One of our best running friends is the pickle guy. He is a pickle vendor. He is one of the OG. But I don't know why it never dawned on me until. And get ready for this. He's a huge wrestling fan.
Even better.
So we might have to have him on here.
Yeah, I was about to say, does he want to be a guest?
Yeah, we've talked. We've talked. I wanted to throw that out there to you guys because I was like, how did I never do this? Like, it never put it together.
The important thing is you figured it out now.
I know. It took me a minute, but things happen in their own time, I guess. Sorry, guys.
Maria
this thing is a little out of it. It's doing its own thing. So
yes, we do have boiled peanuts here in the South. They are
everywhere.
We do have that. There's I don't know if they do them anymore because the guy who used to own the gas station not far from here passed away a few years ago. But they used to sell boiled peanuts. Like boiled peanuts, they sell them at gas stations here. Like that's how common they are. But they also have people sell them at farmers markets. There are, especially when you get into South Carolina, there are stands on the side of the off the exit off the highway, and it's fresh peaches and boiled peanuts. Like that's literally it. Like sometimes they have jams and stuff like that are made from the stuff, but there are people who go to South Carolina just to get fresh peaches and to get sometimes it's strawberries, but usually it's fresh peaches and boiled peanuts. And they have there's signs coming down boiled peanuts 2 miles away. There's signs telling you boiled peanuts at this exit. Boiled peanuts are a big deal here, and I can't stand them. I don't like them.
That's funny.
I love peanuts, but I don't like I have issues like with texture, and I don't like they're too
I get it.
soggy. But
That's
like
so funny. So I was introduced to them like 7 years ago when our brewery moved in, and they used to have them there all the time. And yes, I know, it's crazy. I didn't know. I learned when I moved to the Midwest, and and it's a big thing here as well. And he stopped having them for a long time, but I think he's bringing them back when they reopen their kitchen portion of the program. Because he was telling me when I was talking to him, he was like, "And I want to bring back the boiled peanuts because everybody misses that and complains about them not being here anymore." Because he had them right at the beginning when the business was new. You know, it was like they had a popcorn machine and boiled peanuts.
Nice, yeah.
And everyone loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's boiled peanuts like
But you know, they're successful and they're growing, so you know you have to. I mean, it's a great problem to have, but people get bummed out.
Yeah, of course. So Crash says that the red lemonade is probably closer to, I don't know how to pronounce that word. Lucozade, maybe. The normal lemon colored lemonade. It's pretty rank. He hasn't had it.
Is it like fermented and not like? Because that sounds more like kombucha than tea.
While we're waiting for that answer, I do want to go back. There was lots of things in the comments that I wanted.
Let's go. Okay, don't
go.
I
wanted to make sure I didn't. Away. I know that I've missed it. I saw you talking. So
Mary
first
Poppins
of all, Nikki made me laugh when she said the rain. And congratulations to Blackheart Leo Rush, because at Global Wars on Thursday, he won the ROH Men's World TV Championship.
I thought I heard that. Okay, I was going to ask you about that. Thank you. I have got to start watching ROH.
I am very sad for AR Fox because I love him, and I was so happy he got it. However, I'm really excited for Leo because I've been a fan of his for a really long time. Like when Nikki and I were at ROH tapings way back in 2016, we saw them doing the tapings for the Top Prospect, and Leo was in the Top Prospect tournament. So it was, since we were at the tapings, it was 4 episodes. And so we watched the tournament and he won. And so Nikki and I have been a fan of his since 2016. And so we were really excited for him. And, you know, we love this character. And I think that it's a really cool thing. And we've talked about it many times. Like, we don't know how long you can sustain this type of a character. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that they are doing something with it while they can. And he's super over, which I think is another reason, like, he's just undeniable right now with how over he is. And then I was writing about him winning the other day, and then it didn't dawn on me until I was typing, and then I said it to Nikki, and she was like, I thought the same thing. We wonder if the rain actually means the rain, as in REIGN.
REIGN.
Mm-hmm. I was like, is that what he's meant the whole? Because he only started saying it a few weeks ago, and then he also says the rain, it cuts deep. And we were like, what? And then because Ian was like, rain doesn't cut. That doesn't make sense. But then if he means the other rain, he had to take a title from a friend. And then Action Andretti is who he pinned, because it was the 3-way. So he didn't even pin AR Fox. He pinned Action Andretti, who cost him the title at Supercard. So I was like, is that what he really means? So I'm very excited for him. I'm excited to see where things go. And AR Fox was champion for 33 days and had 5 successful title defenses.
Well, that's good, I guess. That's
good.
So I love AR Fox.
Nikki was like, no wonder he was defending his title so many times. And I was like, yes. And then also from Global Wars, the main event was Athena versus Shuri. And it is now for free on YouTube. And I highly recommend going to watch that. It's the second time they've faced each other. And it was very, very good. It's one of the best matches I've seen this year. It was excellent. Awesome. And then also, if you have not seen Collision, and you somehow dodged the spoilers, because I made it like 9.5 hours. Because my friend saw the spoiler and was like, DM me if you want to see it. And I was like, let me just see. And then I was like, if it doesn't get spoiled on Twitter, it's gonna get spoiled in the Wrestling Inc. Slack, and that's where it got spoiled. And so I've known for a few days. Nikki didn't know. I mean, she kind of figured it out, but So obviously, Athena wrestled Maya World last night in the main event of Collision. So shout out to the women getting to main event last night. And Maya World got the upset, which was a huge. So in ROH, she went the 10 minutes in a proving ground match with Athena to earn a title shot, which she obviously didn't win. But she is like one of the blemishes on her record. If you're not familiar with Maya, they do say it a lot on commentary, but she is Athena's protege. Athena has been training her for a couple of years now. Like, not that Billy is not her protege, but Maya is legitimately her protege.
Right.
Like, I think and I said this back at Survival of the Fittest, or after the Survival of the Fittest match, I think instead of it being Billy to dethrone her, I think it's going to be Maya.
After last night's match, man, that was a really fun match. God, Athena is so good. She totally gave her everything. Then when they were hugging, I'm like, I might tear up here a little bit.
And then the after stuff was so great because Athena's just clapping for her. Mercedes comes down, embraces her, clearly says whatever it is she's saying, and then she turns on her. And then because Mercedes and Athena used to be a tag team briefly, or they competed in the tournament together, they beat Maya down together, and it was just really well done. And I really loved it. And I said it, I think like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I know we need women's tag teams, but also I need Maya to be by herself.
She's gonna be amazing.
Like, she's not a tag team wrestler, and on the rocket that she's on right now, like she needs to be by herself. She needs to be a singles wrestler right now. And if the winner of next week's Forbidden Door match was not to go on to All In, I would say that Maya would win. I would say she beat Mercedes, but I think the plan is obviously Mercedes is going to defeat Tekla. And then my friend was like, or Starlight Kid beats Tekla next week, and then Maya beats Mercedes, and then we get Starlight Kid versus Maya at All In. And I was like, listen, I would not be mad at that.
That's fine. I'm not mad. I would not be mad at that.
And then also, I did see this from Daza. He had his 30th his anniversary this week of 30 years as a bookseller, which that is huge. Congratulations. That's so awesome. And then Crash said, unbeknownst to Sam, she already wished me a happy birthday. Saw Stevie Wonder. I just called to say I love you on my socials this week. That song was my childhood party trick. I still get ribbed. First of all, happy birthday. Secondly, that song I posted on Blue Sky the other day. That song randomly was stuck in my head. I don't know why it was. I mean, I love that song, but I don't know where it came from. And I was just like, why is it? And it was stuck in my head literally all day long. I did pull it up on Spotify to listen to, but I don't know why. Maybe it was for Crash's birthday. But I need to know what you mean by this was your childhood party trick. Is this what you were singing at childhood parties? Because I need
That's
to know.
a good point.
Oh, he said here he used to have a red toy telephone like Stevie in the video, and he used to sing it all the time.
Okay, that's pretty funny. That's awesome.
And it's so funny because the GIF I use is of Stevie on the red phone.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. You guys were like feeling each other and didn't even realize it.
That's
Sorry,
so
the
great.
rain's a little unruly.
That's
happy birthday, Crash. That's awesome. And congratulations, Daza. That's really killer. Like, Good week, folks. Good job. Good job, Powerbombshells people.
Yes.
Killing it out there.
I did see Brad's post as well. He said, go Knicks. So congratulations to the Knicks fans and the Hurricanes fans. And
that's right. Your New York team's won. I'm supposed to be happy
Carolina,
for you,
the Carolina
my New Englander is like saying I'm not allowed. So
well, the Hurricanes are from here. They're in Raleigh. The Carolina Hurricanes.
No, I wanted your team to win because no one around here wanted your team to win, but I was rooting for your team just to piss everyone off, and it's your team. However, when New York teams win, there's like this like genetic twinge from being born in New England that just goes, yeah, that's a thing. And then I have to move on. But I'm happy for Brad.
Yes. Listen, that's how
Congratulations to Kathy too.
Yes, always. Okay, so Nikki says the sunflower seeds are pretty good. The shells taste like pickle juice. It's advertised as Vlasic kosher dill spears. So Vlasic pickles is the one who has.
Okay, so Nikki approved so far. We'll have to have Sam's follow up in the post game.
Crash says I guess this is the Lucozade is a sports drink. It tastes like pee.
Oh, so it's like Gatorade is what it sounds like to me.
We do not have that in the U.S. unless it's marketed under something else like Gatorade.
We have Gatorade, which is a sports drink, which literally tastes like the green stuff, because we used to the neon green version, the original, the OG. It's like a neon green color. It looks like pee. It's supposed to taste like lemon lime, I think, but that's not what it really tastes like. It has a citric, but I mean, the whole point of them, and I mean, we used to drink it a lot when I played football, because obviously
it was created at the University of Florida.
It was the sports drink of choice. They've made a lot of deals, but over the years, that's what we as athletes are largely we drink, because they have. Although these days, like I use the liquid IV packets, they do the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's to replenish your body with the essential nutrients that you're losing while you're exercising and doing whatever.
Well, and a lot of people also drink Gatorade when they're sick because of the same thing, because they're losing
because it
electrolytes and it has the nutrients. But a lot of more people, I think that I've seen in the last few years, they drink Pedialyte instead, which is obviously what you did.
Easier on your system. There is
Pedialyte is supposed to be better for you, I think.
It's because there's a metric truckload of magnesium in Gatorade, whereas Pedialyte and Ensure don't have that, because older people and younger people's insides can't handle that.
Right.
I actually use Pedialyte if I'm going to go that route. Yeah, a ton of people.
I think I ended up, like a couple of years ago, my mom was sick, and I think I ended up getting her Pedialyte.
It's gentler on your system.
Yeah.
I get those IV hydration packets because those have sugar-free ones, and they have the same thing, or Pedialyte because it doesn't mess with your insides the same way that, like, I couldn't actually drink Gatorade because there's such a high level, and the way that much like we've all talked about, because both of our families are the same with the gut thing. There's so much magnesium is it actually messes up my whole system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just too much. I don't need that much.
Nikki says that Powerbombshells should post a picture of you wearing the hat and say "the rain" and tag him in it.
I got a picture at the game yesterday of me in my thing, so maybe I'll get that to.
That would be fantastic.
Because I was wearing the hat because I wanted to show it to my sister because I was so excited about it.
Fantastic.
It was like they're giving away hats on the day I came to the doubleheader that you found for me.
Yeah.
She was actually the one who pointed it out to me back when I visited them. She's like, "Ooh, you guys have this game," and then we went. That's the game we went to. I'm like, awesome. It was meant to be.
Well, I'm glad that she did. I'm glad she pointed that out. Fernando asked, "Is it true Jack Perry is working without a contract?" I don't know that it's true that he's working without a contract. I know his contract is coming due, and they're in talks. Is what I had heard. I don't know that that's true. And if he is working out without a contract, he's getting ready to face Zack Sabre Jr. on Wednesday's Dynamite. So, and
that show looks amazing.
Yeah, that'll probably be. Dynamite's been not bad, but the last few have been like nothing as bad as what I have to watch on Mondays and Fridays. Like nothing will ever be that bad.
Well, no, I mean, come on.
But for Dynamite, for our standards, Dynamite's not been it's not bad by any means. It's just like the Tommaso Ciampa Chris Jericho segment was not for me. I hated it. I felt like I was watching sports entertainment, and I know that's where they both come from, and I know that they both wanted this feud, and good for them. But I hope we get it. They made a match last night for Beach Break on July the 8th, and I hope that's the end of it. But Jericho has continued to prove my point. There was no need to bring him back. He does not fit in with the current programming that they do.
Yeah, the vibe is wrong.
The Ricochet. I mean, and if Jericho is for you, I hope that you are enjoying it, but it is not for me at all. And I'm ready for it to be over with.
Yeah, I kind of zone out. I
will say the segment last night was a bit better than the Dynamite segment, but it was opening Dynamite with that was a choice. 2 weeks ago was a choice and not a very good one. I was just like, this is not feeling. And I agree with Brad that Collision has constantly been the best TV show for a while now. He's been looking at people asking why things are the way are there and not on Dynamite. Watch the show and stop complaining.
Agree.
I agree. Like Collision has largely been, and maybe it's because it's obviously Collision is more action based. It's more wrestling. It's less in-ring segments. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't mind it usually on Dynamite. But like for me, Collision has long been the better show.
Collision sort of was always the best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially when it came out. It had a better vibe. They do more like, I love the promos that the dogs, or that, Juice and his buddies cut. It was amazing. I mean, they just, oh my God. They're going to bring Jay White back, and that's going to level up to like mythic.
Cannot wait. And I was like, I was telling Nikki yesterday, I was like, maybe Tekla will bring him back because Tekla keeps saying she's banned in Japan. Jay White also banned in Japan, even though he defied that to go to tell Takeshita.
Well,
not Takeshita, Tanahashi to be there for his retirement. And then it was funny because, so if you hadn't seen, Tekla showed up in Stardom yesterday, and she came up behind Taro Okada, who was sitting ringside, and she attempted to shave his head. And then then there was like another segment of her. She's standing on the table. People are chanting her name. She's talking, of course, she's yelling at him and all kinds of things. And then she got, she's there's this picture of her and she's being pulled away, and she said banned in Japan. And Matt Sydal responded and said relatable. Because Matt Sydal is literally banned from Japan.
Oh,
through no fault of his own, somebody planted stuff on him. There's rumors on who that person is.
Was it related to somebody who was accused of using supplements by any chance?
Yes.
Really?
That has long been this. I don't know how accurate that is, but that has long been who was suspected to have been involved.
He got him in trouble? That's BS.
He's literally banned from Japan because of what
I know the one person whose name I'm not saying about that.
No, Matt Sydal
supplement guy.
Matt Sydal was legitimately banned from.
So he got caught up in that stuff?
I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe even longer than that now.
It's been a while, but he got caught up with that stuff? That sucks.
And it wasn't his, and they were like, we don't care. Like, we don't believe you. But there has long been rumors that because he was so well liked and somebody wanted his spot, that they put something in his bag, knowing, and because he didn't know about it, and it got checked, and he got caught with it, and they didn't, there's like a no tolerance policy, I guess.
Right.
And
there is.
He is no longer in
You can do a lot of things in Japan. You can even you're allowed to tell your boss off once when you're drinking because of the social culture about drinking, but drugs are like a big no-no there. Just any drugs.
Right.
And it's probably largely because the people who move them through that part of the world are Chinese. And read. Yeah. Just do some reading. I'll let people make their own conclusions on that.
Yes.
That sucks. That's stupid.
Yes.
But they should start a faction. It could be called Banned in Japan.
Yes. And it would be Tekla and Matt Sydal, who did come back last night for the first time in 2 years.
Jay White.
I'm super excited about
I know, me too.
White. Put Jay White in there too, and that could be Banned in Japan, and you could make shirts that say Banned in Japan.
Take my money.
I was like, how awesome is the faction of those three?
Oh my God, the 3 seconds would be amazing.
Can you imagine
go in
Tekla and heel Switchblade?
Oh my God.
They would be insane together. And then you have Matt Sydal, who could be, I don't know.
He could do anything.
He probably has been heel, but he can do anything. He's Matt Sydal. I'm so glad
he could work it either way because of what he does.
And I have been waiting, I've been wondering where Scorpio is. And I was like, is he hurt again? Did he take some time off? But Scorpio was there last night too. And it sounds like Matt Sydal is part of Skyflight. I'm not 100% positive because Christopher Daniels is like my former tag team partner. And I was like, oh my God, Matt Sydal. And he came out. And but Scorpio was back, and Scorpio's been gone for a few months. And so I don't know if he was dealing with a minor injury and needed to take time off or what was going on. And I've been wondering where Scorpio is. And now he's back, and I'm very excited. I did want to go back. I think see. Some of these, I don't know, some of these things are repeating here. Some of, like, I don't know if some of the comments are just coming in twice.
No, it's just that we have a lot of really cool chatters.
No, but some of them are repetitive. Like, they're ones that I've already seen these people say.
Weird.
And so I don't know if there's some kind of a glitch thing happening. But maybe not. Who knows? There was something I was going to read because Crash said something about being 2 years old. There it is. He said he was only 2 at the time. He loved Stevie and the head swing and his big smile. I had the dark shades too. It was number one here for ages, and there wasn't a lot of music videos at the time.
Okay, I remember. That's funny.
That's amazing. And
I
love that
cool
song. That's probably, I mean, I know, like, obviously you can't go wrong with Superstition, but that might be my favorite Stevie Wonder song. Is I Just Called to Say I Love You. I think that might be it. I love it. Oh, well, I don't know. Part-Time Lover is really good too, though.
They are all good.
Let's see here. We'll go back to the Tekla. I mean, I think we got most of it. That, if this wasn't Forbidden Door, then Maya, which should win. But I think that's what's happening. And I think I also feels like it was probably supposed to be Mercedes versus Tony at All In. And so they're doing, like, I don't think Mercedes versus Tekla is going to be a bad, like, I think that's going to be a good match.
Yeah, great.
I think it's going to be really good. And Tekla is just really, like we've said for months on here, Tekla is killing it as champion. And she's like, and I love that they've added in the Stardom stuff and that they're working both of it and showing, like, how much she's hated by the Stardom women. And, like, I think I love all of that. They've done a really good job with it, and having her show up yesterday was really cool. And I really enjoy Tekla. I mean, we've talked about that, so I'm
me too
glad for that. Let's see here. Brad says this almost proves that the final should have been Willow versus 3 since the replacements are in the final now. Perhaps, yeah, that would have been. Some people have wondered if it was supposed to be 3 because she obviously, because it's Forbidden Door and it wouldn't be AEW versus AEW like it is now. Because this is, as much as great as this card is, it is a very AEW heavy card. However, there has been the question, and depending on if it gets answered between now and the media call, I was going to ask, have the visa issues played a factor in this card? I have heard, because I know, like, WWE is dealing with a lot of visa issues. There's like 4 or 5 people that are dealing with it. Obviously, Beast Mortos and Commander have been dealing with it for months. And so I don't know if any of the Japanese wrestlers are affected by it, but I'm kind of curious. And so I'm wondering if that's why this is. I know it has tended to be a more AEW heavy card, which I don't like when it's Forbidden Door. It should be like
everyone.
Yes, it should be more. But I am wondering if visas are a factor, or if it's just, Tony's just booking. I'm like, we have 11 other well, not 11 because they don't do pay-per-views every month, but we have plenty of other pay-per-views that you can book. You can book whatever you want, AEW heavy. But this is the one that you should not. I wish he would go away from that, but I do wonder if visas have been an issue. Also said Mercedes versus Tekla could be Hill versus Hill, which is fine by me, but podcasting stickers for that sort of thing won't be happy. Well, they can get the hell over it. I don't understand that. It's wrestling in 2026. You can do Hill versus Hill. You can do baby face versus baby face. Like, I hate that mentality that it has to be either or. There's so many wrestlers who are tweeners too. And for Tekla is a heel, but Tekla's super over.
Yeah.
Like, to maybe Stardom fans, she's a heel, but I think to American fans, a lot of them, she's not necessarily a heel. I mean, she is, but they love her for it. And so I think you can do a heel versus heel. Like, I don't see that that's a problem.
No, because they're different.
Ron says he would have Starlight Kid beat Tekla at Forbidden Door. I mean, you could, and then if Starlight, but Stardom would have to either, I guess, they'd have to let Starlight Kid come defend the AEW World Championship or the Women's World Championship on AEW programming. I mean, clearly you could do it in Stardom too, but I don't think that they will. It would be unexpected and it would be really cool, and if they could figure something out to let that happen, for a few months, that would be fun, but I don't see that happening, even though it would be very cool. Oh my gosh. Hazuki versus Mercedes 2 was definitely a match of the year candidate. for AEW. The women go. AEW needs to sign Hazuki. That match was, I posted on Blue Sky. I was like, I think that might be the best women's match on TV this year. It was so good. And they got, I think it was 22 minutes, I think. Nearly 23,
nice.
if I'm not mistaken. So it was one of the top 5 longest women's matches in AEW. So I really, really love that match. Yes, Dynamite does look like a pay-per-view on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very.
This
I don't see how
this crazy.
Is. People were saying, I was like, "Are we sure this isn't a Dynamite collision?" Like,
yeah, right.
3-hour show. That's gonna have to go in an overrun because there's no way that show's gonna be 2 hours with that card.
Thing's stacked. That card is freaking stacked. I'm like, that's like a mini pay-per-view. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Me
Zach
too, Nikki. Oh my god.
ZSJ. I was disappointed that ZSJ when they had. First of all, I was so excited, obviously, for Zach to come out on Wednesday. Then he came out with Teats. I was like, yes, and we got Mikey Nichols, but I was disappointed that they did not have. I thought Zach was going to call Kenny a dickhead. We did not get any promo. Kenny slid him the microphone. Zach slid it back, and I was like, "Why are we not?"
Oh no, they were having like the weirdest mic war ever. It was like, "No, you talk,
I was like, why are we not cutting promos here? What are we doing?"
It was like an anti-mic war.
Yeah, and then the Bucks and Jack Perry come out, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, we're gonna get the Bucks and Jack Perry versus TMDK on Collision, or we'll at the very least we'll get the Bucks versus Teats and Mikey." And then they're like, "No, they're wrestling Lethal Twist," and I'm like, "What?" But we're getting the Bucks versus Tito and Mikey on Wednesday. So I was like, I guess I had to save it for Dynamite, which I'm just glad we're getting it, and I'm glad, of course. More bad dude Tito on TV always makes me happy. And I need you people who don't know who he is, or Mikey Nichols for that matter, to stop saying who, because in the year 2026 you can use
the interwebs on your hand.
Engine. You don't ask AI though. Please don't do that. I would rather you not say anything at all. Just use a search engine and look it up. But also, they've been on. And again, I know not everybody watches ROH, but Tito has been on ROH programming recently. I also would like to remind you that if you did not watch Strong back in the day when it first started, when Bronson Reed, before he was Bronson Reed, when he was Jonah. In New Japan, he added Tito to TMDK before Zach was even a member. Yeah. So you need to know your TMDK lore.
And Zach took over TMDK and declared himself leader.
And Shane Haste are the 2 original members of TMDK. So Mikey Nichols being there is important because he is one of the original ones. Shane Haste is wrestling for Noah. He's their champion. That's why he's not a part of this. Because he's their champion. So he's not part of this current, what we're doing TMDK. Right now. But Mikey Nichols is there because he is one of the leaders, or he's one of the founders. And then when they added Jonah, and then Jonah and Tito were tagging in Strong a lot, he officially invited him to be a member. And then he left and went to WWE, and then that's when Zach came along.
And he took it over. He literally took it over like a dictator. He was like, "Okay, this is my group now." It was like, "Okay, now I'm the leader of this group." Because he's Zach, and that's what he does. He did a total freaking... He, like, stormed in like a proper Zack Sabre Jr. and went, "This is mine. I'll be taking this."
Pretty much. And then, of course, now there's, Robbie Eagles is in it. I hope we get some Robbie Eagles up in here.
Fujita's great.
Fujita, I hope, please bring Fujita over.
We love Ichiban Sweet Boy. We love him.
And then you've got Big Roy. So, and you have Hartley. So TMDK is going to be the size of Don Callis before long.
It'll be like
Brad says it's going to be Skyflight, but at this point, it's going to be TMDK. It's going to be bigger.
They can have a 3-way match to see who can have the biggest faction, who can pack out their faction with the most humans. We have 17,801 people.
Michael asks, why doesn't Tekla join the Dog? She was already an honorary member of the War Dogs in Japan. I guess because she's with Triangle of Madness and she's their leader. And I would not mind her in the dogs. I think it would be fun eventually, but I like having an all women stable, and I think we need more all women stables. So I would at this point, I would like to see her continue to do her own thing with Triangle of Madness, and then have some more women's factions,
right?
And do that instead. But I would not be mad at that because obviously she is a huge fit for them. And then, obviously there's the personal stuff with Clark that obviously would make sense if they're going to acknowledge that on TV. Lauren asked, what would they have done with the TBS title if Willow had won the ON? Would they have left it off the All-In card for a second year in a row? That's a very good question.
I
don't know. Unless Willow was, I really don't know what they would have done with that.
Yes,
Divine Dominion.
It's a good question, though.
Well, we already know the Divine Dominion is already on the buy-in again because apparently that's the only place they're allowed to wrestle.
Oh, is that true? Okay.
Yes, they added that last night because I'm wondering if there's visa issues because instead of having Divine Dominion wrestle a pure Stardom tag team or a pure CML tag team, we're getting Thunder Rosa again. Nothing against her, but for the purposes of this card, it's her versus Olympia, which I'm excited about because Olympia is so good. She's one of my favorites that I've gotten to see through the ROH stuff. Olympia's, and she's wrestled on AEW programming a couple of times as well, I think. I'm pretty sure she has. And Olympia is great, and I'm excited for her. But that's why I'm wondering if there's some visa issues, and maybe that's why. And again, nothing against Thunder Rosa, but on a card where you could have you can have Stardom tag teams or a CMLL tag team, that would be better. Lauren believes that Tekla would be a face versus Mercedes because the crowd loves her. I think so too. But the fans are starting to get behind the CEO week after week, Maria says, which is also correct. So I think
they can go either way.
You should just let them be two badass women who are going to have a kick-ass match and not worry about who is.
Well, at any given moment, because people love Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he wasn't a clear-cut face. I mean,
not all the time he wasn't.
And so, but people loved that sort of F the man kind of whatever badass attitude about him. So at any given moment, if Mercedes becomes the heel, then Tekla's the face, and then vice versa, because depending on where they are in the feud, let them feud. Who cares? Right. Nobody's sitting around asking if Jon Moxley's heel or not.
We talked about a few weeks ago when people were like, Takeshita doesn't have a character. I literally don't care.
I just watched his in-ring performances.
Right. I don't care if he has a character. I literally do not care. He's contracted by 3 wrestling companies for a reason. It's because he wrestled Vince Russo, who I saw a quote that Vince Russo claims that AEW, he turned him off because there's too much wrestling.
Well, you know what? That tracks.
And I was like, listen here, sports entertainment brain. We know. But for those of us, last night, Nikki and I were joking. I was like, wow, look at all this wrestling on this wrestling.
I know, God forbid. Holy crap.
I prefer, maybe I'm in the minority, but I prefer lots of wrestling on my wrestling program.
Wait, Sam, are you telling me that you are wanting to tune in for what is advertised to you and actually get the product that's advertised to you in the end?
It's crazy as it is, yes.
Come on. I sharks are jumping sharks right now in America, and Vince Russo is definitely a shark jumping a shark.
Yeah.
What is happening, girl?
This will probably be a fan for those of you who are more familiar with Stardom. Is it true that Tekla? Because somebody said yesterday when Tekla came out and she was being cheered and they were chanting her name in Stardom that's the most over she's ever been in Stardom, and she was not over like that prior to when she was an active wrestler. Is that correct? I know she was a heel and was in hate and all that stuff, so I'm aware of that, but Stardom is obviously not my forte. So I saw somebody say that yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to ask the chat because I know that they'll tell me.
Ask our chat.
And also, is it correct that for the last 3 years that Hazuki has not been booked very well? And because obviously she's been booked pretty well here, and so I also would like to know how Hazuki is treated there too, because I'm very curious about that. So, because Brad says Tekla is 100% Hill that gets cheered for being cool. Tekla has a face or tweener since she was in DDM. She's a much better Hill this way.
Cool.
So I guess that kind of answers my question, but I'm just very curious about that. Crash said TK super spoiling, staying with all this bad dude Tito coverage. We've only been asked, like, if you have, for those of you who have watched us from the beginning, that when we were watching Strong on a regular basis,
big
like,
teats,
you
man.
know that we love bad dude Tito. Like, that's just our dude. Like, we love that guy.
Yeah, man. I was so hyped.
And now Mike Gilbert has joined last year.
Oh, yeah.
He joined the bad dude Tito train and would like to know. And I know Nikki and Brad also are big fans of.
It took us a minute to get, but Mike was like, I like that Mike was like, yeah, Sam basically told me this, and I'm gonna admit it. And I was like, wow, all right. She got Mike Gilbert to admit it.
And he always was like, why is this dude not fine? Like, why is he not fine anywhere?
We got him on that train.
Yes. So please welcome aboard the train with us. I wish his match with Kenny got more time, but I thought that he looked really good.
Yeah, it was good.
So I was happy for that, at least, but it was
so nice to see that guy around again.
Nikki said, I remember one of the first times I was seeing Tito and being like, this dude is awesome. I love his look. He's got an 80s vibe. Yes, he does. Love that for him. Crash said, speaking of ZSJ, for me, I think it's an interesting cultural comparison for when we reach that Will Ospreay portion of the show. Oh, yeah. Please come back with those thoughts, because we're going to get to it. I promise. We weren't planning. I didn't think we were going to talk about tea forever, but
that's okay.
But we also haven't been here in 2 weeks. So.
Correct.
We had a lot to catch up on.
We had
Mel and I had IRL things to do. Yes, thank you. That Lauren says Olympia wrestled Mercedes on AEW TV and had a banger match versus Megan Bain and CMLL. Yes, That match was so good. Olympia rules. Like, Persephone obviously rightfully gets a lot of attention because she's incredible, and I love Persephone, and I've been talking about her forever. But Olympia is fantastic. Like, I really, really like her a lot. I'm glad that we are getting her. I was excited when I saw her. Let's see here.
I like the variety. I think it's important. Like, we're getting a lot of different things. They're finally, I know for a long time Forbidden Door wasn't shaping up, but it looks a little better now. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah. I know. It's wild. Holy crap. There's wrestling on my wrestling TV.
Right. Okay, so we have the people chiming in. I knew you people would know. And thank you for being. I knew I could come to you.
Of course, we have a great chat.
Yes, we do. And I was like, these people are going to know. I'm going to ask them. So Crash says that hate is in name only. They're doing social media like they're a bunch of faces lost in translation, I guess. Michael says she started off good, but last year she kind of just burnt out in Stardom. I believe this is about Tekla, not Hazuki, I believe. Lauren says, I don't think Tekla was that over in Stardom, and people have been complaining about Hazuki Stardom booking for a while on my timeline. Okay. Michael said, and yes, Hazuki has not been booked well in Stardom since 2023. Why? Okay. I mean, I get it. We complain about women being booked here, so I get it. But why? Like, she's so good. I've only seen like a handful of matches of her.
I wonder if that's because of the switchover, because Rossi may be booked better than, you know what I'm saying? Because they didn't. It was like Bushiroad or whatever bought them, right?
Yeah. Yes, Bushiroad's owned them for. No, Bushiroad's owned Stardom for a while though.
Oh,
right?
okay. Or
well, not like a while, but like
it said they fired Rossi, right? Rossi Ogawa.
And he's got Marigold now, which is a pipeline to WWE, practically.
Right. That's right, because he's doing all that over there. So, okay, that sucks. That's stinky.
Daza says Tekla spent a lot of time being attached to bigger names, such as Julia, so she would get overshadowed somewhat. Okay, that makes sense.
Fair.
And poor Julia. Thankfully, I don't listen. The hopes for her in WWE are low. However, they did get her away from Kiana James. Kiana is actually a lot better than I thought. She's been very good. They're letting her speak now. And I said way back at the beginning, they're only putting Kiana with her because they think that her English isn't good enough. And you can understand Julia. You can understand her. You don't have to put up subtitles for her, but that's basically what they did. And she practically admitted it in her promo 2 weeks ago. But her English, she's cut a couple of promos in the last couple of weeks. So again, the bar is on the floor. But Julia, hopefully, like, this will be a sign. I mean, I have no, like,
she chose, and I hope the best.
Julia should be a gigantic star there. They don't know what they're doing. However,
she made a choice, and I hope she got paid, and I hope that they figure out how to use
her.
And
they probably, but the thing is, they probably promised her a lot of things and said a lot of things to get her to sign. Just like they did with Blake Monroe, who had a backstage segment and now has been in nothing but vignettes for the last month. And they don't know what they're doing with her either, because they don't know what they're doing with any of the women, but they also don't know what they're doing with their product in general.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't they struggling right now?
SmackDown was one of the worst shows I've watched. It was very TNA-esque. And I've only watched 3 episodes of TNA this year. But that SmackDown was one of the worst things I've seen in a really long time. It was god-awful.
Yikes.
Especially the opening stuff that they did with Cody Rhodes and Gunther, which it's hard to mess those up, but they found a way to do it. And thankfully, we have 1 3-hour show left. And then we're going back to 2 hours because they can barely fill the 3 hours they've got.
Oh, that's right. They did. They were going to go back. So
when
does that happen?
So now it's pretty much a set schedule. From January to July, it's a 3-hour show. And then from July to December, it is a 2-hour show.
Okay. Okay, actually, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because that's holiday to holiday, kind of.
Pretty much, yeah. It's basically Road to WrestleMania through part of the summer. But Road to WrestleMania we about drove off so many cliffs. There were so many potholes. Road to WrestleMania was awful this year. It was bad.
Are you telling me that the Road to WrestleMania looks something like a Michigan road? Just full of potholes?
I don't know what Michigan roads look like, so I don't want to offend the Michigan roads.
Oh, you can't offend them. We already, every Michigander will tell you how bad the roads are here. We will flag on our own roads. So I'm going to say it for you. The Road to WrestleMania, folks, was like a road in Michigan, and you know what that means.
Well, that is pretty bad because
it
was bad. Daza said Shuri versus Athena this week on ROH was fantastic. I like better than Monet and Hazuki. It's free on YouTube, as Daza has told us. It is very good. It is worth going out of your way to watch, and you don't have to have My AEW or Honor Club to watch it. It is on YouTube. Please, I highly recommend it as well.
That's smart when they do that anyway, because they're trying to get people hyped for a show.
Yes. Michael says when Tekla became the idol killer in Stardom, it just made her a villain for Poi. Okay.
That's Poi. Okay, cool.
Okay. Brad says Rossi booked Hazuki badly. She's basically a tag wrestler for the most part. That's insane.
So he didn't do a good job either.
Fernando said the CEO is not talked about being a star maker on the same level that Becky Lynch is. You're right.
That's true.
You're right. Point. That was a very good point. Laurent says Kiana is really good, but what is going on with how they're booking Jordan Grace? I don't know. She's like not been on TV for as far as I know. She's not injured. I don't book Jordan Grace again. Look at they have the talent. They just don't have the booking, or they just don't give a shit, which is probably more of that. But God, it's awful. Let's see. Brad says, fun fact, Hazuki is only 28, got into wrestling due to being a huge fan of Kelly Kelly. She retired in around 2019 or 2020 and came back in 2021 and wrestled the pre-show of the MSG G1 Supercard show.
Oh, I must have seen her then, because I was at that show.
Let's see. Michael said, I don't know, after her match with Mercedes in 2024, Stardom did nothing to capitalize. She may have had backstage heat there. Laurent says Julia's a better fit in AEW, yes, and this might be part of a hot take, but so is Mariah Way. They were really blowing it with her. Yeah, they have. No, it's not a hot take. I would agree with you. They've blown. Mariah's way too good for them, and I know that she. Of course, I get it was her dream, and I will never. I've said it from the beginning. I will never fault anybody, Stephanie Backer as well, for taking their dream jobs, because sometimes the dream job is not what you think it is. Sometimes you work for it, or you're promised these things. I know that there were people in Mariah's ear also telling her to go to WWE, and it ended up not working out. They have completely fumbled her, which is insane. But they basically just wanted her because AEW wanted her. It's the same reason they wanted Julia. It's the same reason they wanted Stephanie. all they cared about was getting them away from AEW. They had no plan for them. They don't care. They just want to say they signed with us instead. And that's very unfortunate. Robin said it's definitely a South Carolina road.
See, I know y'all know.
South Carolina and also North Carolina roads are not that much better. So
I mean, I think that the infrastructure situation is definitely in a historically bad place, just as someone who knows about these things. And so we can all, commiserate about our infrastructural issues. It's just a super duper. I'll put it this way. It's such a big deal. Like the potholes in the roads here are such a big deal that our current governor, who is out of terms, unfortunately, ran her platform was largely, literally, people say it's kind of like thanks Obama, but it's Michigan style. Fix the damn roads. Right. So that is a Michigan. You will, if you come around these parts and you hear fix the damn roads, it's literally a thing that, because she even ran on it 8 years ago when she said, she has done, incidentally, an excellent job of fixing the damn roads. It turns out that people don't understand that roads don't magically fix themselves. And the way to fix a road is that you actually have to shut it down and potentially temporary inconvenience people so that it may be fixed.
Right.
And so all the people who bitched about the roads are now bitching about the inconvenience of the roads being fixed, which I find hilarious. So...
because they always want something to bitch about. Brad, your mayor is now my mayor. I don't care. He's my mayor. That is also my mayor.
Our governor is actually.
I know, but I'm talking about Brad's mayor. I've adopted him as my mayor.
Oh, is he an awesome mayor? Oh, right. Oh my God. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. Yeah, you have an awesome mayor. I know that the interwebs and a lot of social spheres would have you believe otherwise, but did you notice something? I got to say this. I started noticing they're using the word progressive like it's a dirty word all of a sudden.
Oh, they've been using it that way.
I know, but it's been more pervasive in it's in the fore more than it was I know they've been doing it since Bernie kind of but literally now when they're talking about banning words, progressive keeps popping up. I'm like, hang on. I know you guys didn't like them. However, they're really starting to pop up a lot more than they used to. It's like when woke became popular, with repurposing woke became popular. That's what it's feeling like. I'm like,
right. It probably is. And that's
you keep using that word.
Probably it is by design. It's definitely
almost like there's a giant psyop going on here or something.
Who could imagine? Yeah, Michael's correct. Please be smart, Persephone, and take note. Mariah, Jordan, Julia, and Stephanie are all WWE prospects that were better presented before the Fed.
Listen to Michael.
That's the truth. Okay. Let's see. I guess unless anything pops up in our feed. Yeah. We will talk about, just real quick, the stuff, because we didn't, of course, I knew it was going to happen. I was like, because I already had a family commitment last Sunday, I was at a family reunion in South Carolina, and so I was off, and then Mel she decided that she was going to take the week off, and then she had an unplanned
family reunion.
So it ended up
good friend show back up in our life last
I was
weekend.
Just like, of course, this information about Janelle is going to come out when we have the week off. Of course, it is. There was an update. Clearly, you probably heard about it, but BJ wrote a really good article about it the other day that kind of breaks things down. And so attorneys for Janel Grant, Vince McMahon, and WWE have decided that because they were originally on the 16th, they were supposed to go into court. But a couple of days before that, they decided to change things. They have 3 weeks to come to, 3 weeks as of the time of when the filing was approved, to come to a settlement and private arbitration. They're just moving things out of public eye. This is different than the arbitration that was going to be argued previously, that was scheduled on June the 16th. The agreed to arbitration will be held confidentially. There will be a status report filed by both sides in 21 days to inform the court if the two sides reach an agreement. I believe, so if I remember correctly, I believe the date that I saw was July the 10th, is when both sides have to have their status report filed. The arbitration is held at the consent of the defendants and the plaintiffs with agreed upon rules and arbiter. The arbitration that McMahon and WWE argued for in court filings was based on the NDA Grant signed at the end of her tenure. That arbitration would have been held with an arbiter of WWE's choosing and based on the parameters in her NDA. WWE and McMahon have argued that Grant should be forced to go through with this arbiter in the case and not in federal court. Despite the sex assault and sex trafficking allegations that have filed 2 complaints and various exhibits provided by the defendants. BJ goes on to say that lawyers for WWE and McMahon have argued Grant violated the NDA, but did not specify how during various filings. They've never been able to specify how she broke the NDA. The defendant's attorneys also said in court precedent and existing law argues that Grant should be forced to consent to the arbitration in that agreement. Grant and her attorneys have argued that federal laws such as the Speak Out Act and the Ending Forced Arbitration of Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Act back her argument in declaring that the arbitration clause is illegal. The defendants argued the 2 federal laws don't apply to Grant and are only applicable to arbitration clauses and NDAs signed by employees at orientation and before alleged assaults and harassment occurred. Let's see here. And then he just said, as previously reported, the timing of the possible settlement in the Grant case would have come before the previously scheduled June 16th arbitration hearing. It says after a ruling in that hearing, the losing side would be had much less leverage to argue a settlement. Coming to a settlement before the hearing has both sides on a more equal ground. BJ also points out that another factor is the appeals and rulings that are bound to occur following the arbitration hearing. The Speak Out Act and the Ending Forced Arbitration of Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Act are recent legislation with few precedents weighing in on how these laws should be viewed in court. Any ruling on the arbitration clause would lead to various appeals for either side, extending the case for the future. BJ's assessment is that there is no risk for Grant and the defendants. They can work out on a possible solution for 21 days. If they haven't reached an agreement at the end of the 21 days, they can resume the case. The upside is they could reach a settlement. So that's kind of where things stand right now. We'll probably know more between now and the in July the 10th. So that's kind of where things are now. And so it is kind of confusing. I know it sounds confusing because they think arbitration, oh, it's a settlement. Could be. We don't know yet. We'll find out more. There's a lot of moving parts, I feel like, because of the way the court system works, and probably not over. I don't think it'll be, maybe it'll be over by then, but there's also appeals and things like that. And if they don't even come, they've got to come to an agreement in the first place. So that's the big thing. Can both of them,
and then a judge or an arbitrator has to approve that,
right?
Because you can't just settle without approval from the courts, because that's like what happened in the UFC suit, was that when they came to a settlement, the judge took a look at the settlement and flat out said, this isn't enough, and had them send that settlement back. So in the way that legal systems work is that if you and me had a settlement and we sat down with it, but because it's in court, we have to run that by a judge and make sure that the judge feels that both parties are being indemnified, or
right,
that there's no violations of state and federal law and all these other things. So,
right.
I mean, that has to be hammered out. The reality of moving to arbitration is that really the ugly reality is that if they do settle, it will come with an ironclad NDA that will make it so that she is unable to speak about
Most likely. We'll see. I mean,
we will see, but I mean, that's usually how
it depends on what's agreed
play.
to, and so I think we need to be careful with that. We don't know for sure. I mean, it could be, but we don't know that. I think that.
I hope not. I really do.
Because the way that Janel Grant, her team, have argued this case the entire time, and now you have Janel Grant being active on social media, openly talking about what has happened to her. She's showing the emails. She's showing things that are in depositions. I find it hard to believe that she would sign an NDA to keep her quiet. She was only quiet to begin with because the FBI identified her as a potential victim and told her she could not speak. She was not allowed to. She's been quiet for a very long time. For her to, she's made 2 public appearances, which is the first time she's done it in a really long time. And because she has been active posting on social media, I have a really hard time thinking that she's going to go back to being quiet. She's had other people speaking for her this whole time. And now it seems like she's working on finding her voice again. And so
I hope so.
I mean, it's certainly possible. And of course, I would think that McMahon's team and WWE would try to make her sign another NDA. But she's literally been doing advocacy work to fight NDAs in the state of Connecticut. And she talks about how NDAs affect your mental health, and that she's been in her public appearances, that's what she's been advocating for. So I find it very hard to believe that she would agree to any type of NDA when she is literally, that's what her advocacy has been, and that's what these public appearances have been for. She's actively posting on social media where she's coming from. So of course, are they going to try to make her not say anything? I'm sure
they absolutely will
in there, but to me, it seems like it would be when she's already been, so she finally seems to have be comfortable enough to use her voice to share things. And like I said, she's going to, I actually wrote an article a couple of days ago. She's actually being honored for her advocacy.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that.
Yeah, she, as the Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence, it's a coalition of various programs in Connecticut, and so the alliance is for all of them. They are honoring her with an Advocacy and Action Award. She will be honored in September. They have an annual breakfast, and she'll be honored there. And they said on Instagram, they said Janel is a survivor of workplace sexual assault and trafficking who was silenced by a non-disclosure agreement she was forced to enter into with a Connecticut corporation. Since then, she's been instrumental in advocating for the passage of legislation to limit the use of NDAs when they silence survivors, using advocacy to frame NDA reform as a matter of supporting and protecting human rights. The alliance describes itself. Oh, that's where what they were saying. And then she thanked them on Instagram. She said it was an honor to be to get this award. She called them her heroes. She stated that their service to save lives, including hers, and she hopes to pay it forward, which is what she's doing now.
Awesome.
And I think that's important to note, that she is she's being awarded for that, for her advocacy, for using her voice. And so it's really hard for me to think that she would go back to being silenced after. And
awesome.
Now that she's using her story to advocate for change in the state that she lives in.
Change that should happen, by the way, because NDAs were never, ever, ever meant to protect abusers. They were meant to protect legitimate business being sabotaged, and that's it. They were supposed to be a property law, not a law that allows a powerful person to mess up another person's life. I hope that's true. I love what she's been posting. I've been following her social. I think this has been an issue for far, 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 far too long. She is not an isolated case. She's just the face of it right today. It's been going on our whole lives almost. I mean, dude lost all those lawsuits, and half of those lawsuits were about women that were speaking out past NDAs, and judges said, no, you still can't mess with it. You still can't abuse them. You still can't traffic them. You can't stop. I love that. I hope that I wish her. I mean, I am behind her. I am if I can sign petitions or yell at people about NDAs, I'm right there with that, because it's wrong. That's not what they're for. Don't use legitimate business tactics to hide your illegal BS behavior. And I heard someone say it, and I think it's really important. It might have been Jim. He mentioned the fact that you can go and look what's on the public record about what Janel courageously was willing to put out there about what happened to her in that lawsuit. And you can go see the absolute depravity of these freaking guys. It's right there for everybody to read. So,
and one thing I was thinking that I've thought of the last few days with her, her advocacy work, and I was like, if she were because of course you're going to have people who think she's lying, and she accepted gifts and all the bullshit that they say.
All women are evil. I know.
Would she be advocating the way that she is if she were lying?
Would you have put
that's something to think about. If she's lying, if she were lying, if all of this was made up, would she be spending her time going into public and publicly advocating for NDAs to go away if she were lying?
If she were making it up, why would a 700-page lawsuit say the things that it said?
Right. And then
I sure as shit wouldn't go around just bragging about that happening to me.
There's the declaration that came out a few months ago. So reading that, and if you assume she's not telling the truth,
the revision.
Why would she willingly be why would she be? And not only has she been advocating, she's being awarded for her advocacy.
Yeah.
So
you don't go around talking about this stuff openly if you're not doing something important.
If you are watching this and you don't believe her, ask yourself why. You don't believe her, and you believe Vince McMahon because he's been on your TV for, decades. But then ask yourself, if she were lying, why would she do advocacy work to help other women, other victims, other survivors, to the point where she's being awarded for it? Then ask yourself that. Then, maybe you can come up with something to continue to, say that she's lying, and that's on you. You use your I just would ask you to think for yourself and ask yourself these things.
Are those the values you want to live in?
Michael says, other than Vince, do you know if Nick Khan, Stephanie, or any other people could be sued individually for their part in this? That's a good question. And there's even been questions about, of course, we don't know the deals with the stockholder settlement, but they had wondered if that's a possibility that shareholders could go after them potentially. Of course, the settlement may affect that. So it's really hard. It is a civil, the whole thing is this stuff with Janel is a civil lawsuit. Nobody's being charged with a crime. It is, did these things happen to Janel Grant? Did he use company money to pay her? And then he thought pay her. Did she sign this NDA under duress? So these are the questions that are being asked in the courts. So it's certainly possible, I guess. I'm not a law expert. So, but then I think bringing up Nick Khan, and I was going to bring this up before, it's really interesting timing that they made this movement to move arbitration out of the public eye the day after Janel Grant posted on her social media a picture of a deposition from a former board member who believes that Nick Khan is the person who wrote those emails, or if he didn't write them, that he at least leaked those emails and then leaked them to the Wall Street Journal to start all of this. So it's very interesting that maybe it's a coincidence. Coincidence has happened, but it's just, I was like, oh, that's really interesting timing, because Janel literally just posted yesterday that this former board member thinks that Nick Khan is the person who leaked the emails. And then now all of a sudden they're like, let's get this out of the public eye. Are they related? Who knows? Maybe the shareholder lawsuit freaked them out and they're like, we need all this out of the public. We can't, this shareholders lawsuit was about to make us look real bad because that judge had put out these rules. The judge had proof that we were changing our signal chats. Maybe it freaked them out enough that they're like, we need to move all this.
They were destroying evidence that they've been told not to destroy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never thought that any of those people were going to see the stand, sadly, because of their names. But when a lot of that stuff,
they were damn close though.
I know.
Literally 72 hours before.
I know we were. It's just when that happened, that read as just from a pure economic standpoint, I kind of agree with the idea. They literally started a whole new company to hide her.
Yeah, they did.
That's messed up. And they were allowed to do it. That's how messed up of a world we have.
Yeah. I guess, and as Janel Grant has said publicly, while she's advocating for NDA laws to go, for them to do away with them.
So stupid.
She said, I am the origin story. If you don't know your origin story, I'm at the center of it. No matter what happens with TKO, if it's around for 30 years, 50 years, if it's around till next year, whatever it is, Janel Grant is the reason that it exists. And that could never be like, that is a fact. That company was literally started to, I mean, based on this information that's out there from the shareholders lawsuit, it's pretty hard to argue that it wasn't. And the fact that they did not want to testify after a judge was like, basically was like, I don't believe you. You have to prove to me clearly and convincingly that you didn't destroy evidence. And then
they didn't want to go to discovery. They didn't want anything out in the public.
And then a day after Janel Grant posts on social media about Nick Khan potentially being the person, again, maybe it's coincidental. I just definitely looked at that and I was like, oh, that's quite interesting, the timing of this.
Wild.
And the Ring Boys lawsuit is still there's nothing that has been decided for that either. The defendants and the plaintiffs have asked the court for an extension to work out a joint protective order. So this is to conceal the identities of the defendants in the case. And again, the McMahons and WWE and TKO know who these people are. They are trying to protect their identities from the public. Why? Look at what has happened to Janel Grant. They don't want those same things to happen to these people. So it's not that the McMahons don't know who they are. They do. It's the public does not know who they are. And so that's kind of where things are with that. The Maryland Supreme Court had ruled that the Maryland Child Victim Act is constitutional because the McMahons are trying to say, they want to say that it's not constitutional, or they tried to argue that it was not constitutional. But last year, the Maryland Supreme Court says that it is. So that's where things are for them with that. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that are happening. And we'll, as we get updates, we'll share them with you. I'm sure we'll have BJ back on at some point to weigh in on some things, and maybe he could answer the question that Michael asked about could other people be sued individually. It's a very good question. And what also may happen with that may be the settlement, the shareholders lawsuit, because I think one of the arguments that's been brought up is, will WWE pay for the settlements of several people involved because they were employed at the time, or is the insurance going to be like, no, we're not covering that?
Right.
Vince McMahon was under a separate thing and he was not employed with WWE, so most likely WWE will not pay Vince McMahon's part of the settlement.
I can tell you as an insurance agent that you don't get paid out on any policy if you break the law.
Right.
That's the truth. If you do something illegal, right, any policy that I write, that policy is written explicitly for what it's for. If you go out, if I write you a life insurance policy and you tell me you're not a skydiver and then you go out and skydive and die skydiving, you just voided your life insurance policy. Bye. Sorry, you weren't allowed to do that. That's just not how that works. So
right.
That's
so it'll be we obviously a judge has to approve like everything, and it depends on what. So I guess depending on how that plays out, the shareholders lawsuit and what will WWE's insurance that covers, I don't know if that could affect the potential of other people being individually sued.
So I cover anything illegal. Really good question. That's what I know.
I'm not a lawyer, so that is not a question for me, but I'm
not a lawyer either, but I am an insurance agent, and I know that insurance will not cover anything illegal. I am a licensed insurance. I have a number. They let me do this. It's crazy. But the truth is that if you do illegal shit under your contract for your insurance, whether it's your house or your auto or your person, they're not going to pay that policy out. So if they determine that that's illegal, they're going to be on the hook for that money. And that could mean suing Vince for that money. Or whomever Vince's representatives were.
Yeah, so it's not as open and shut as it seems. It's not as open.
No, there's so much out there.
There's so much that could happen. And so, again, we'll continue to keep you posted as things happen. But I did want to, since we did miss that last week, I did want to talk about that briefly. And again, thank you to BJ for that really great information that he wrote on SC Scoops. He had some really good stuff there. That talked about that. And then thank you, Tom. We are doing good. Hope you are as well. If you do not follow Tom on this channel, you should.
The Tom Talks Rubbish show. You should definitely check it out. Tom's a good dude.
Yes. I was trying to. I did just see something because I was
Sam got
reposting.
squirreled,
No,
everyone.
I saw something on Twitter. I was reposting. Nikki was telling people to listen, so I was reposting it. And Fightful has an update on Private Party, and both Isaiah and Mark sustained the same injury in the same match on March 28th against the Death Riders. And as of right now, there's no timetable for their return, which is crazy. That they had the exact same injury in the exact same match.
It's wild.
That is very wild. So that's what I got distracted by because I was like, wait a minute. Because I saw a picture of Private Party and I was like, oh, what's that? But yes, shout out to Nikki for telling people to come.
Thanks,
listen.
Nikki.
Thank you, Nikki.
Our chat's always got our back. We love you guys.
So yes, back to Michael real quick. He says, I think that if the settlement is framed to cover a specific individual, it might leave the door open for others. So it may only cover Vince. Right. I think that's one of the questions for sure. And so it certainly
I hope
sounds
that
like it could, but again, that's not my expertise, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be an optimist. I'm trying to hope that there's a loophole that manages to help fix. So, I mean, she needs to be taken care of forever, as far as I'm concerned. Janelle needs to never worry about anything ever again in her life. So she needs to leave, go on with her life, get whatever she needs in help, be covered for the rest of her life. She should never have to pay a bill. She should never have to worry about shelter. She needs to be taken care of. I mean, Philip Morris, smoking suits.
Whatever justice looks like for Janelle.
Agree.
Then that's
agree.
What she should get.
I desperately hope she gets justice.
Because of course we would all like to see them on trial, but also we're not owed that spectacle.
Well, no, she has to be.
And even going to the shareholders lawsuit. And I know we all, because Vince McMahon and WWE have seemingly gotten away with so much for so long. I mean, Ashley Massaro is a prime example of that. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. And so whatever that looks like for her, then I hope that's what she gets. And then we'll see and then there's the Ring Boys who have to, are going to have to who are going through their own stuff and seeing how these two trials are playing out. And I'm sure that, it's not easy for them and they're doing their own things too. And then again, as we've said from the beginning, these are the people we know about. There could be potentially lots of other people who have suffered.
It's just, it gets tiresome to watch these big, ultra wealthy, crazy feet just get away with what they all get away with every day. It's a microcosm of the larger issue, especially here with the pedophiles. And so far, it sucks. It's very disheartening, and I really am with you.
Yep. So I think we will end that topic there.
Yeah.
Again, as we can find out any information on any of the cases, we will pass that along to you. This was a really busy, insane week in wrestling.
Yeah, of course it was.
Of course it was. I mean, at least we were here for it. I mean, we missed some of the Janelle stuff, so we had to talk about it this week, and that carried over. But TNA.
Yeah, tell me.
TNA has, as the title that Garrett gave us, TNA implodes again. Because I just put in our notes, TNA implosion. Because what a mess. That TNA has just... So, Tessa Blanchard was asked for her release. It was granted. Then, I believe the following day, TNA parted ways with Tommy Dreamer, who was part of Creative. And if you've listened to us or have made yourself suffer through, TNA's Creative is awful. It is not good.
He's been there forever, though, hasn't he?
He's been there for a really long time. I forget how many years.
I don't feel like he's a lifer, but he's got to have been there for a long time.
He's been there for a very long time. He was part of Creative with Delirious, the part of booking. Delirious used to be part of booking for ROH, but there were some things that Delirious did in ROH that were not great either. So I don't know how much of this is to blame on Tommy and how much of it is to blame for Delirious, but for whatever reason, they chose Tommy to be the one they parted ways with.
Okay.
And then there have been, since Tommy has been released, people have been sharing their stories about him, their own personal interactions with them. It started, well, at least for me, for what I saw, started with a referee named Perch, who is, from what I have understood before, I'm familiar with him. He as a referee for GCW, but from what I understand, very beloved referee on the indie scene. He took to Twitter yesterday to talk about his experience with Tommy. I don't know if I've got it right here in front of me. It was last night when I was reading about it. So he just basically, let me see if I can find it, because it would probably be better to, here's what Carly Bravo quote tweeted what he said with his experience. And apparently Carly deleted his.
Uh-oh.
It looks like. But so Perch was just talking about he did not have a great experience with him. Tommy, pretty much from what Perch says Tommy vowed to basically never let him work a job. He would never get a job in wrestling. And so it was just, he's just talking about his experience. Let me see if I might be able to find Perch's, because Carly's is no longer there. Let me see if, hang on a minute. Oh wait, it may actually still, let me see. Is this it here? Is it still there?
Well, Tessa stays gone.
Yeah, here it is. So he says his version of events is that Tommy pulled him aside backstage at a TNA show, telling him he would make sure he would do everything he could not to earn a job in the wrestling business. All I did was try to learn and grow from experiences through his, though his words are very discouraging for a young student to hear. I didn't set out to prove him wrong. I simply thanked him for the advice and went another direction. The pro wrestling business is for everybody. You just have to find where you fit in best. And don't perform for someone else's ideal vision. Perform out of your own passion. Take critique like a professional and thank them for your time. However, you don't have to, you don't have to allow that to be coercive to you. And then Carly Bravo, in his deleted tweet, talked about how basically Tommy told him that he didn't know how to market a cocky black guy. according to what he says. Well, then Mickie James decided she was going to weigh in on what Perch said and basically said, I don't know who you are and I don't know anything about you, but Tommy is my friend, so you must be lying. Is pretty much what it boiled down to. And it was this whole long novel where she's discrediting everything he said because Tommy's nice to her.
Which is always super awesome evidence to use, is
right.
He's nice to me.
Yes.
I mean, that's usually what I base my decision making on, is whether or not a person is nice to another person. And not their larger
and then so I've
actions.
seen some other women who have come forward and talked about stuff. There's a wrestler, she's no longer wrestling, a woman named Kennedy, said that she wanted to do a kendo stick spot, and he was like, no, let's do a spanking spot instead. She was 20 years old, new to the business. She didn't want to ruffle feathers. He's a legend. He had been wrestling for a long time. She didn't want to tell him no, so she went along with it. And then I just saw, when I was opening Twitter to retweet Nikki, I saw something from a wrestler who she's retired now too, Danny Jordan. She used to wrestle here. And she said she's been waiting for this. One time, Tommy Dreamer insisted on doing a crotch grab spot to me in a tag match he was a fill-in for. This had no place in our storyline, but he didn't care to ask. I did not want to do this. Said how uncomfortable I was, but I'm just a woman. So these are some of the stories that have been coming out the last few days. And then apparently Mickie James is at least discrediting one of them. So that's what's been going on with the Tommy Dreamer stuff. Also, going back to the TNA stuff, they also parted ways with Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan had retired from wrestling like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years, just various injuries, but he was still around agenting matches. Apparently, from what he says, he was helping with merch. A lot of the merch, the things that he came up are available from TNA's website. He also owns Pro Wrestling Revolver, which is a really big indie company. I haven't watched as much as I had, but there was a time where I was watching like every show. Really great stuff. Sammy is somebody who knows what he's doing in that aspect. I mean, there are some questionable things about him, but apparently with most men in wrestling, there are questionable things. But he was doing that too. So he thought he was getting a phone call asking him to join creative. And they were, from what Sammy says, they were like, they didn't want to hear any of it and they let him go. So now he is gone. And then this also comes on the heels of Steve Macklin asking for his release. Myla Grace is a woman who asked for her release. And then, yes, we did, this week on top of that, Tasha Stills did re-sign with the company. She's been with him for 7 years. She said that she loves the locker room. She loves the knockouts. They've helped her and a lot of other women. She says she's very loyal and felt like she couldn't leave them. So she decided to re-sign. I don't think she said how long she re-signed for, but she is sticking around. Allie, who was the bunny with Butcher and she was with Butcher and Blade, she went back to TNA in March to go back, and she's been working with Rosemary. Apparently, I thought she was already signed, but she officially signed this week. And then Trey Miguel also re-signed with them this week. So not all doom and gloom, but it is interesting that the people who re-signed are all people who have been with TNA for a really long time and maybe have some leverage because of their seniority or because they have been there for a long time. So perhaps that helps them. But it is interesting that since January, Myla Grace, Tessa, Steph DeLander, Danny Luna. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I believe there was a fifth woman who they all asked for their releases. Then the Inspiration did not resign when their contract was up. So it's very interesting that many women have asked for their releases. And yes, you can say, well, Tasha and Allie re-signed. Sure. But that does not negate the fact that like 6 women have asked to be released from TNA in a short period of time. To me, as a woman and as a wrestling fan,
red flags.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Red flags. Sorry, red flags.
Does not
two ladies
does not look good. That makes me...
confirming. If I saw that on paper and I wasn't a wrestling fan or anything and said, so this guy was their boss and 6 ladies just left in the last 6 months, I'd be like, well, he must have been messing with them in some way.
Yes, and also maybe that's who I'm thinking of. Killer Kelly also did not resign her contract either.
Now, again, this is just personal, anecdotal lady experience.
Right.
However,
we all kind of that many women.
Yeah. Usually they're being. I mean, Steve. You can say, okay, well, Steve Macklin left too. I'm like, that's still like 6 to 1.
And then yes, and Mance Warner left because his wife left. And maybe he would have left regardless. But when Steph DeLander asked for her release, he also.
Okay, so he's married. So one of the people is married to one of the women that left.
Right.
I mean.
Right. And Steph's situation, and she's openly talking about it. Like she was trying to get cleared. Her doctors had cleared her. Their doctors wouldn't even look at her stuff from what she says. She says Carlos Silva didn't even know what her injury was.
They didn't want her then. This is what that says to me.
That's just really so.
Bad
maybe hers may be a more specific case, and maybe Tessa's is too, because from what Tessa and CMLL say, TNA gave her an ultimatum: us or them. CMLL are not. TNA is obviously partners with WWE. WWE owns AAA. Right. AAA and CMLL hate each other. Like if you think that AEW and WWE,
my God, yeah,
it's nothing compared to those things.
No.
So there's definitely politics at play. TNA say that that's not true. They didn't ask her to choose between them.
As you would expect.
They supposedly they offered her a contract with more money, and she asked for her release. Tessa and CMLL say we were given an ultimatum. Either you wrestle here or you wrestle here. There's no going back and forth. And she chose CMLL. There's a couple of different, obviously, versions of stories that are going around out there. You can choose to believe who you want to believe. I know one doesn't have the greatest track record, but the other side doesn't necessarily have the greatest track record either. And it had already been previously reported that TNA was not happy with her working in CMLL because of the WWE AAA relationship. So you can believe who you want to with that. But goes back to my point. Multiple women asking for their releases, and then the inspiration deciding not to resign. Maybe it is because they wanted to go to AEW, but it's very interesting that many women have asked to be released at once. And like we said, as women, and there's alarm bells going off.
Sus.
Even Mike Gilbert, when Mila Grace asked for her release, Mike Gilbert said, "Do women not want to work there? Or why don't women want to work there?"
Yeah, see, I mean, if it's that obvious to a non-woman, it's pretty, because for me, like you said, alarm bells, that's totally sus to me. That goes, well, I don't want to work there either. That's what I would say. I mean, that would be my feeling is, if someone said to me, hey, 6 women just left this company in the last 6 months, I'd be like, well, I definitely don't want to apply to that company.
Yeah. That is
because there's a reason.
Yes, it feels like it.
So I mean,
it's very concerning to me that that many women have asked for their release.
Yeah, that's why.
And some people try to spin that as, oh, they're not getting TV time. I'm sure maybe that's part of it.
Maybe
but that many women at one time in that short amount of a period.
That's a big coincidence.
If it was any other company, this is a coffee shop down the street, and 6 women all of a sudden quit within 6 months, you would be like, what's happening to the women who work at this place?
Yeah.
That would be, you would at least inquire. You would be like, even if it's to yourself, why are that many women quitting this one place of work in such a short amount of time? You would wonder.
Yeah.
I would think, at least maybe it's just
I would definitely stop patronizing that place. How about that?
Yes. Michael says, and Jessica Havoc and Savannah Evans also split. Yeah, I think Savannah left a little while ago, and I'm not sure how long Jessica's been gone. But yeah, so even going back into last year, and then Giselle
Did they let Tessa go, or she left?
She asked for her release, and they granted it. She says it's because
potentially she could get out under the CMLL AAA thing. However, it could very well be that that's just a convenient excuse because she may or may not be happy too. And if she's not happy, you're really doing it wrong because she's not a bastion of performance in her past either. And I'm not talking about in-ring. I'm talking about professionally wise. Right. Is that she's not like, I wouldn't go out and calling her professional of the year or the century by any stretch of the imagination. No. So if she's not happy and she's the lady, that would even for me, I don't know, because she's got issues. She's got her own baggage, and she's like, no, I'm out of here. What?
Yeah, you do have to wonder. I mean, sure, you could use the excuse, oh, well, it was the ultimatum. Maybe it was. Maybe that's all it was.
Maybe it was.
But it could be other things.
Except
it could be a lot of factors. It could be like, hey, the ultimatum was the last straw, for all we know.
Maybe they just don't treat women good in general, like maybe they're paying them half as much as the men, and that's all it is.
I have heard that CMLL paid Tessa better than TNA. Again, I don't know the accuracy of that.
Right.
But somebody said to me the other day, they were like, how bad does that locker room have to be? A foreigner would willingly choose to work in Mexico over working for an American company on TV.
Yeah.
Which is a valid question, especially when you have multiple women leaving. Daza wants to weigh in real quick. when we get to the Will Ospreay stuff. He has to go. Thank you for staying with us as long as you did. His 2 pence on Ospreay is he found his promo vulgar and full of lad culture that I hate. Love watching him wrestle, but I find him unlikable. Thank you for weighing in. We have some thoughts. I have some thoughts, at least. I have lots of thoughts. We'll get to that. But thank you for weighing in, and thank you for being here with us. And again, congratulations on your 30-year anniversary.
That's so cool.
That's amazing. Very good. I hope you have a good week. But yeah, so TNA is, and of course, there's been questions about TNA's financial stuff. Are they? Some people think, oh, they're releasing these people because they're getting ready for a sale. But then there's other people that are saying, no, AMC is taking on a lot of, TNA was in debt, and there's a lot of stuff there. So there's like financial stuff. I think it's more than one thing. TNA has faced a lot of adversity. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of times that company should have gone out of business, and they have somehow made it to 2026 still being here. People have joked, like, is the relationship with WWE, what if that's the thing that finally kills them? Which it could be.
I mean, that's a valid question, actually.
It is a valid question. And so from my understanding, I haven't watched TNA since I had to cover it back in April. From my understanding, there currently is, other than Santina Morella's daughter, who is Ariana Grace in WWE, they've been doing a long story. She was the knockout champion. She's no longer the knockout champion. Her and her boyfriend, Stax, have been on, I believe those are the only two that are still actively on TNA programming. I know Starboy Charlie, who is an WWE ID prospect, I think he answered an open challenge from Mustafa a few weeks ago. But for the most part, I believe there's currently not, other than those two, not a lot of WWE involvement. But Matt Hardy was talking about it a few weeks ago, and he was saying he thinks because of WrestleMania and all of that going on, that they were obviously focusing more on WrestleMania, not so much the TNA stuff. Now that that's behind them, maybe we see that picking up again. It's hard, who knows exactly where that's going. But as of right now, there is limited WWE talent on TNA programming, and I don't believe any TNA talent is on NXT programming. I could be wrong, but as far as I know, none of that is happening. As Mel and I have said many times, we want TNA to stick around because there needs to be viable workplaces.
More work.
They cannot, not everybody can work for WWE, and not everybody can work for AEW. Especially when they get released, where are they going to go? Right. Obviously, there's the Indies. There are New Japan. There's starting. Of course, there are different.
But
places.
It's the only other TV program. It's the only other wrestling on TV.
Right. Exactly. And
regular TV, old school advertising, still pay attention TV.
Right. So we want them to survive. We also do not want WWE to own them because monopolies are not good.
Monopolies suck.
We are seeing that now with these companies that are trying to merge, like your Paramounts and things like that. And in radio, there's also Nexstar is trying to.
Oh no!
They're trying to merge with Tegna, and Jeff Jackson was talking about he's a senator here, or he was not district attorney. What is the word I'm trying to use? I'm blanking on his. I don't know why I blanked on his stuff all of a sudden. I just watched a video of him like 2 days ago, and he and other attorney general. That's what it is.
There you go.
He's my state's attorney general. He and other attorney generals from all parties are coming together they're trying to stop this because they're like, hey, this is not good. when 80%, when two companies two companies merge and they own 80% of the airwaves in the country, not good. And then they try to go they try to go around you, and that's not cool either. You should put a stop on that. So we don't want that in wrestling either. Like, no. we don't want that. We do not want a monopoly in wrestling because we had that, and it's not good. It killed so much. It sucked real bad. So I don't want WWE to buy TNA. I don't want
Me
AEW
either.
to buy them either. I don't
No.
want Tony Khan to own them because people are like, well, Tony could just no. I know. We don't.
How about not? It's bad enough, like with the ROH stuff, that there's not enough effort being pumped into that.
He owns that library.
Right? No, I'm glad he owns the library, but I mean, he look at like
we need viable options.
Yeah.
We need people to get paid. We need, and again, it's not just the talent, it's agents, it's makeup, it's catering, it's camera people, it's there's lots of people who make wrestling companies run, and we want them to be successful. And they need to be successful.
Yeah.
And so I hope that a pleasant place to work, especially if you're a woman.
Yeah, God forbid.
I don't know what's going on in that locker room, but
Yikes.
or maybe not the locker room. Maybe it's the
management.
Maybe it's management. Maybe it's multiple things. But something clearly is happening to make women not want to work for you. That's concerning. But I want it to be a pleasant place for everybody. So that's another thing. So I hope TNA, I hope they don't go away. I hope they figure it out. I will personally probably not be watching. I have people I know. Cedric works there. I've known him forever. Mustafa Ali is one of my favorite wrestlers. He is there. The Hardys are there. Like there are people who, and even if there are people there who I'm not, not people that I tune in to watch, like I want them to have a job. I want them to get paid. I want that for them. So I hope TNA can figure it out. But it sounds like a long road ahead of them. It sounds like it's a rough. They're going through a really rough patch. I don't know. I don't want to count them out because there are many times that they should have gone out of business and they haven't. But things are looking real bleak on different levels right now. And then you have people. Well, there's a whole other thing. So if you are on Twitter, then I'm sure you've seen AJ Francis this week, who works for them. He is he's going to put them over. They're his bosses. They pay his check. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you are saying that other people, or you're saying that, oh, this is why these people are leaving, and they're like, no, that's not why I left, then maybe you should just not weigh in on that.
Shut your mouth, because it's none of your beeswax.
Yeah, so he was saying some stuff yesterday, and Myla Grace was like, that's not true. And then he was like, I know it's not. Well, then why did you say it? What are you doing? And then he was saying some stuff about Steve Macklin. And Deanna called him out and told him to quit being passive aggressive.
Maybe mind your own business and be a adult.
You still have a job. You're still on TV. You're still
why are you care?
Because people are hating. Because he said he needed people to be as loud about Tasha and Trey re-signing as they were about people leaving.
Yeah, you can F all the way off.
You can do both. You can.
How about you F all the way off and allow people to speak what they need to?
Wrestling Inc. did report because I wrote the one about Tasha re-signing.
Well, there you go.
And then somebody else covered the Alley story, and somebody else covered Trey. But we also covered the rest of it because all of it is new. Right. All of it is important.
You don't get to cherry pick.
It's good. I'm glad people are re-signing. That means they feel confident enough to earn a paycheck from there. But there are clearly other people who do not. And then they then they got rid of Tommy Dreamer and Sami Callihan, which is concerning. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they work their stuff out.
They said AJ Francis is trying out for Busted Open.
I mean, you never know.
Nick Lewis is there, and we all know his brother Ryan as the TNA homer too, which there's nothing necessarily wrong with being a homer.
No, but
when you are
when it gets wrong, when you're blowing up other people's work and when you're blowing up their potential and you're blowing up the possibility of them getting seen by someone that might pick them up and that maybe earn, you're messing with a person's livelihood, whatever that is.
Right. And this is on top of, dude, speaking of messing with people's livelihoods, this is already after Carlos Silva was pulling people off of indie shows that had AEW talent on them.
Right.
And they're keeping people from making money. And then there are certain wrestlers they have talked about that if you are not, that who are no longer there, if you're not on TV, if you're not at tapings, and being used at those same things, you're not getting paid. That's insane. How are you contracted and not getting paid? So there are lots of deep issues going on in that company.
It's not like they need to get their back off. They needed to back a house to get fixed up pretty hard.
Yeah.
That sounds like an office and a management and a professional. I mean, that's a business problem, not a talent problem, it sounds like, because otherwise they'd be happy and staying.
Yeah.
No matter what sex they are. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to bring this up. Fernando says replacing Tommy Dreamer with Road Dogg is like replacing a flat tire with another flat tire. So the rumor is, from what I understand, Road Dogg has not officially been hired. I could be wrong. Maybe it has and I've missed it. But from my understanding, they are talking to him.
Of course.
Which, I mean, sure, I guess you would, even if you're not going to go through with it. But let me just tell you, we got rid of all these people. That episode of SmackDown on Friday, granted, Road Dogg was not part of it. But it's a lot of the playbook that Road Dogg went from. That episode of SmackDown could have been in TNA, and then I wouldn't have known the difference.
Oh, good.
That's just how bad the writing was, and how bad it was. Just constant. I mean, that's what they do. They love the constant interference, and also that reminded me that that's what they do. I don't know if you listened to the promo from Pac this week, where he challenged Shooter.
I did,
but he ended it with, the Death Riders just do what we do. And it made me laugh. I don't know if that was a shot at Triple H, but it felt like it. It made me laugh when I heard it, because that Triple H, besides a new era, it's a new era. That's his thing. He says every pay-per-view, PLE, whatever.
Every week.
He always says it's why we do what we do. And it's become, like, there's a guy on social media that makes videos, and he's supposed to be, he plays various characters. It's usually Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes, and somebody else. And regular guy. They ask regular guy to weigh in on things, and he almost always ends the video with, as Triple H's character, saying, "It's we do what we do." It's what we do. And so I just thought,
I mean, I don't feel like these carnies like say much of anything with.
I mean, apparently from Big Man, he said it's their legit catchphrase. Mox said it after winning the C2. I still feel like it's a shot at Triple H, though, because he has been saying it a lot. And they're both former WWE guys. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like this is
pretty
what
smart.
I feel like. It's a troll. That's how I feel. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have missed it.
Maybe it's just
maybe
you
it is
thinking
their real
that
catchphrase and I've missed it. But to me, it feels like they're trolling.
Purposeful. Yeah.
I
mean, why not?
Like to me. Especially because it's Mox and Pac.
Right. And they're doing amazing.
Yes.
They are completely transformed in the greatest way ever.
So yeah, that's what's going on with TNA. Hopefully, and TNA, he said maybe they're going for the NWO vibe where they're in Vader. Also, speaking of NWO, yesterday I saw Man Like the Reese is selling a shirt that says NWO, but it's Nan's World Order, because he has all the Nans who came to see him in Vegas. I love it. I love it. Smart. Love it. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. That Pac and Mox are too self-aware.
I agree with that. They're very smart people. They don't just Mox like I've not as because I've just heard more interviews with Mox and him about, and it's just, he's not a dummy. He's a very, very smart man, and I'm sure being recovered at this point and in recovery has made him an even more smart man, because look at the level he could operate on prior to that.
Right.
And now he's just become, God, he's so great. It just, nothing he does, like even on, when he was doing, he's got to stop.
Yeah, because I saw
he's got to stop being on broadcast and making me laugh about Jaguars and stuff.
He needs to. Oh yeah, because last night it was the Pumas, because
that's
Marina is like Marina was like a Puma, and they have to feed her, and that's why she thrust kicked or gave a big boot to Jay Alexander. Because I saw last night, I was like, oh, okay, Pac is in action. Mox isn't going to join commentary. And he immediately pops on a headset. I was like, God dang it. I love him on commentary, but I hate it on Collision because he always distracts me. And I'm trying to pay attention to the match. And this was even a squash match, and I did pretty well. But I was like...
And then he makes that Puma comment?
Yes. And I was like, God dang it, John. I'm trying to do live coverage here. Stop making me laugh. Stop distracting me.
He's so great. He says the funniest stuff. It's so off.
I wonder if he'll be on commentary for Marina versus Harley.
Oh God, I hope so.
Marina.
I mean,
Harley,
I don't.
I do hope so. In the fact that he is so good about putting women
but also
over.
It's bad for coverage.
It's bad. He's distracting. I don't want him to take away from the women.
He does put over the ladies.
He puts
so
over
good.
the women so much, and it doesn't feel like he's just trying to white knight or anything. It feels like he legitimately likes women's wrestling, and
he's like excited about them. He's not faking it. It's not forced. No. He's like he makes me hype. And then I'm like, wait, he's talking about a lady wrestler, and I'm like, everybody needs to take a lesson, because still you get those when like Tony Schiavone or something, and bless his heart, but sometimes he's stumbling over what to say about a lady, and I just want to be like, talk about her like she's a wrestler, dude. Right. Calm down.
Oh God, the other day, and he has a habit of doing this, but during, I think it was Mercedes versus Hazuki, and he was like, what a women's match. And Excalibur said, what a match.
What a match.
Excalibur has done for him before. And I know a lot of that is just his brain. He's been programmed to talk like that. But sometimes I hear it and I'm like, Tony, it's a...
You want to be like, can you let X handle this one, please, buddy? Can you just let X call this one? I mean, it's probably better for all of us.
Korea says Moxley gives zero fuck flies on commentary. He's just trying to get everyone over, including himself. Yeah.
I think he just truly and honestly, much like Kenny Omega, who's always on when he's in the ring. Like, I just think those men truly and deeply love what they do. Like, it's like Kenny never tweets, he never gets online except... What's that?
I said, and Danielson.
Yeah.
Very much like he marks out on commentary all the time.
Oh my God, yeah. He's smart too. He's like a book reader. He's like a nerd like me, where he just, because I thought it was funny because Mox talked about when he went to Danielson about when WWE wanted to do his book, and he asked Danielson and said, should I do it? And he was like, no, that was the worst mistake I ever made, was doing a book through them. And Danielson he said that he would have preferred to have done a book later that was his book that was well written, which is why Mox, when he wrote Mox, stayed away from Ghost Riders and all these other things, and he didn't go through with doing a book through WWE. He actually got to publish his book post exit, and once he had buried his former Avi way down deep to never be seen again.
Yes, Tony Schiavone is busy reminiscing about the 80s. I love Tony as though he's old school. I do love Tony.
I love him to death. Bless his heart, but he is a man of a certain age.
Yeah.
That's all I can
Much
say.
Like JR.
And Dave.
Yeah.
I know that they're nice. Everyone I know says that they're my friends who I love the person. And so I know the person is not a mean, hateful, mismeaning person. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to forgive that person's certain age hole in their brain that has sort of made their neurology decide that, oops, this is how I talk about ladies in 2026.
I mean, I guess at least it's not Kevin Kelly.
Also, I can't not notice it because it's been going on my whole life, and I have a niece now, and I have a sister, and I have
perfectly segue into the next conversation.
Actually does.
Yes, real quick before we segue into that. Crash is speaking of the 80s. We need the Outrunners versus Dawn and Cheech RPG Vice at Beach Break.
I'm in. Sign me up.
I'm in, you son of a bitch.
Yay.
And they have to have Dalton now because Dalton is with them. He's the trio champion.
Yeah. Do it.
Nikki said, I've seen people say Tony Schiavone is the worst commentator ever, even though the Feds commentary team exists.
Agree.
God. Joe Tessitore drives me insane. Corey Graves drives me insane.
I was just going to say,
But I
isn't
think
Corey Graves on the other table?
But by far the worst is Booker and Vic.
Oh,
And
God. Booker's the worst on the table.
Awful.
He's
Vic
so
Vic
bad.
No, I hate their commentary. Is terrible. And I'm not saying Tony's perfect by any means. And there are times that Tony, I wish he, there are times that, I'm not the biggest fan of some of the things he does. But I would much rather listen to him than listen to any of WWE's commentary, but specifically the NXT commentary team. It's awful.
Yeah, no, I can't. No.
It's been awful for a long time. Yeah. So I would much rather listen to Tony. But yeah, so that's going to segue us right into our next conversation.
Which we can't not have, I guess.
So speaking of Tony, he invited Will Ospreay to the ring. And Will Ospreay congratulated Will on getting married. Congratulations to Will and Alex. They were married last weekend. He's talking about how they're not doing their honeymoon right now because he says Alex is like, we can go to Hawaii whenever. Go follow your dream, which is obviously winning the Owen so he can main event, obviously we'll probably most likely main event All In, but so you can go to All In to challenge for the Men's World Championship. Then he decided to go a little TMI, a bit overboard, and said that he banged her and that he told her to go clean herself up because he had to get to Houston, which was a choice. I wouldn't say I was offended. I just rolled my eyes. I was like, really? Like, this is what we're doing here? Like, I get it. You're consenting. You're happy. But this is also a wrestling business that has a very long track record of the way that you talk about women, which is a big issue in wrestling in general, has been for decades. In large part because the biggest company that was on TV for decades, not just here, but around the world that was accessible, treated women as, they're not to take them seriously. They're objects. They can't wrestle. They're in bra and panty matches. Mm-hmm. They're on cover of Playboy. They're seen, not heard. Like that whole thing.
Well, you've got a national case playing out that we've been talking about for weeks about this kind of I mean, I'm not equating what he said to what's going on with that situation. However, in your very business, there's an enormous story going on about the treatment of a specific woman and what was done to her by people in your business in places of power. So, and your wife is another star on this show. She's not some faceless person. Pretty much all of us knew who you were talking about and went, oh my God, you're talking about Alex. Like, that was what my brain did. That's all I thought of, is like, as a human being, one human female to another human female, I don't care what, like, even if she thought that was okay or not, I just thought, oh, what an awful way to talk about your wife who's literally on this show.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I wasn't offended by it, but I just rolled my eyes and I was just like, oh, God, really?
No, it just
like, this is what we're doing. But I think
too much. It was like,
but the bigger issue is, to me, is not necessarily what he said; it's what happened afterwards. Mm. Because a user on Twitter named Catherine, I don't follow her, but I see her stuff often. She is in the UK, and she just quote tweeted the segment, did not at him, just said, basically was not for me. She did say to her it was dehumanizing and misogynistic language. Apparently that is the part that must have triggered Will. And his response to her was, go touch grass, Catherine.
Oh, I did see that.
That was, again, she did not at him. He willingly took it upon himself to respond to her. This is the man who will probably be the face of this company in 2 months. Who went after a female fan because she had the audacity to say, "I don't like what you said." And he took it personally. Apparently, he was replying to other people, but then what happened, but even before, I mean, part of it happened before Will, but then once Will responded, that opened all the trolls to come in, all these men to be in her mentions, which I forgot. I have the tweet here. Let's see if I can.
Now, Will
let me upload it.
Will had made the deliberate decision previous to this last week. But he's previously talked about his mental illness, and he had made the wise decision up till recently to log off. And I think that we need to normalize logging off, because sometimes it's bad for your mental health and sometimes you can't handle it. And Will is one of the people that when he's online, he has a tendency to not be okay online, and he needs to. So he had been largely offline until some of the shit with Suji last week. And I was like, oh crap, Will's back online. That's not
I think
great.
That is storyline stuff. Like the stuff.
And I get that.
I think is building up for probably Forbidden Door. Probably.
No, and I get that. I can see that might be the reason he's decided to reemerge from his cocoon onto the interwebs. Except then it's like you're back on the interwebs, and then as soon as you're back on the interwebs, someone says that they didn't really like that, and you immediately take it personally and turn back into the person that you said that you didn't want to be previously on the interwebs. And that's where I got.
Well, that's been my whole thing, is what happened afterwards, because it is the conversation that when a woman anytime gives her opinion on nearly anything, but specifically wrestling, that it becomes a problem. Like, people cannot handle women having opinions about anything, whether you disagree with it or not. So here's the tweet that I want to put up here. Catherine, can we move the blue sky thing?
I think so. Hang on.
That Catherine made a screenshot of just a handful of the responses she got from saying that she didn't like it. And their usernames are there. There's no point in hiding them. I mean, she posted it. So one guy says, if you ever had sex with a man, not some pathetic soy boy left-wing cuck, I promise you, when he said when he told his boys about it, it was worse language than that. Then there's a gif of the Rock that says, shut up, bitch. There's people telling her to fuck off, people calling her twats, people calling her losers.
This is why we shouldn't have let women out of the kitchen. That's really solid.
Mad because she doesn't have anyone doing that for her.
Wow, Pepsi Cowboy original.
Yeah. Then we have $100 that Catherine is really a guy. Then we have all fucking wet wipe. You people are offended by everything. Then that's again just the small section of what was said to her, because Will used his giant platform to respond to her, because again, she did not at him. She said all she said was it was not for her. She did, and I guess because she said it was dehumanizing and misogynistic, he took issue with that. And so then it became this really big thing of people were defending Will, but they were just putting down women in order to say these things. And so Catherine, along with this picture of these tweets, she said she felt her point was clearly their dynamic clearly works for them, but can we not normalize that kind of language in a fan base that routinely shits on women? But unsurprisingly, said fans are now proving it for me in the replies. And then there were some other tweets that I bookmarked. Well, I retweeted them, but I bookmarked them as well because I felt I agreed with them pretty strongly. So Danny from Black Girl Wrestling said, did I take issue with a promo last night? Not particularly. I don't know these people. What I do take issue with is random trolls online trying to big up their chest, belittle and speak over women who did find it offensive, and trying to literally mansplain misogyny, which is what is happening here. And then
not that we're not used to it, but
right. And then Lyric points out a really great question. serious question. Why are women the only demographic that immediately gets all their concerns, questions, and opinions not just dismissed, but outright shamed within wrestling fandom if it's not in line with that of the general population of what men think? She followed up with, women don't get the courtesy of that. Let's agree to disagree, bestie big bro. I still love you. Y'all give other men over a difference of opinion. It's always, you're too soft for the boys club, and an assortment of slurs in the replies. Do you realize we can see you? Which, yes. So I think that was a really big point. And then this person here, Mo, said, I think Alex can speak for herself and is clearly comfortable with him talking about her like that. And as a spectator, it's uncomfortable for me to hear a man speak like that about any woman, are two ideas that can and should coexist. Which are all really good points. And, you know, she's even brought up MJF and some of the ways that he speaks about his own wife. And the point is that it is pervasive in wrestling culture for men to talk about women like this. It has been like this for decades, and it's been normalized. And so when anytime a woman stands up and says, hey, I didn't like that, they immediately get attacked. And they're constantly like, I have been attacked so many times for covering the Vince.
Oh yeah, you have. Oh my God.
I have been attacked by men for timing fucking women's matches. I had a day where people, men, were in my mentions and quote tweeting me all fucking day long.
People with nothing better to do with their lives.
Just because I time women's matches and because I had the audacity to ask for women to have equity in their match times. It's not that big of a fucking deal, but apparently to men in wrestling, it is. And it's something that I've dealt with this from articles that I've written and things like this. So I have seen this personally it's happened to me. Like, I can relate to this. And then you have it happening. I see it happening to other women. I've seen it happening to other women in this industry.
It happens. It happens in every sphere. I hate it.
This happens all the time, and it's unacceptable. If you don't
it happens all the time, and it gets worse.
Scroll,
right,
block, mute. You do not have to weigh in, and if you're gonna weigh in, you don't have to talk like that to people. But it happens to women.
What I don't like is that this is just the beginning. Is that unfortunately what I tend to see in cases like this is that even what you're showing on the screen is sort of scratches the surface, because eventually then you get further down and people start doing things like threatening violence and threatening. I mean, it just, these sorts of things is spiral behavior that you see on the internet, and it does unfortunately happen in women's mentions way too much. And the thing that I don't like about it more than anything, I think, is because I did a little bit of like looking back, and I was like, Sam talked about him being named and speaking out. The reason he was named and speaking out was not because necessarily he particularly specifically did a thing to a woman. It's that he supported, because that woman came forward, he had her blacklisted because it was his buddy she was talking about. And so for me, especially knowing what I knew, like, I went, oh, damn, that's probably not a choice by a wrestler with your background and your situation. And like you said, who's most likely about to become the face of this company.
Right.
And if you're going to be at the face of the company, like, do you think that John Moxley would get on the interwebs and answer a person like that? Do you think that Kazuchika Okada would get on the Kenny Omega is probably the best example. Kenny only talks on the interwebs when he has something to say. Otherwise, he never talks on the interwebs because, duh, you're a grown man. You are a huge star. You don't need to be doing this. And then when you do it, you are knowingly opening up a tunnel, an avenue to a woman being harassed, because that is what, and Will Ospreay is too smart and too much younger than me to know that he says that there aren't going to be 8,000 billion trolls in that poor woman's mentions. He knows that. And if he doesn't know that,
going after her anyway, but because he responded to her, he
should have left that one alone. He can say it on the TV, and then if you stand by it, you have no reason to talk to this woman online then.
Right. And people were like, oh, y'all, apparently Will and Alex deactivated, and people and one particular person who has a large following in wrestling media was decrying, oh, you bullied them out. What about Catherine? She's a regular person, not a wrestler, not on TV. What about the people bullying her for days on end? What if
It's
she
always
deleted her
about the
account?
people
Would you
that
cry
create
about
the
that?
problem.
What about the women who constantly are bullied on this app for having a fucking opinion about wrestling?
And Sam can say that
And
from
you don't
experience.
say, I don't see you being like, get out of, don't say these things. Like, you don't. It's because you're saying that because they deactivated last week too. Maybe they deactivated because it's best for their mental health. Maybe it's not because they were bullied off the internet, but you don't give a damn that Catherine is being bullied for days on end for having a fucking opinion that doesn't mesh well with somebody who's about to be the star of the company.
Will
And that
Ospreay is a paid professional. He should know better than being on the interwebs with anybody.
I mean, I think Lady B has talked about it a lot about needing people needing wrestlers in particular needing PR training.
Yeah. She has, and she talks about it in our Discord also. And I am behind the effort to do a mass campaign to get these guys media trained so that they stop with all of this.
Again, like you brought it up, and that was some of the things that I was thinking about. Because a few years ago, my fandom of Will changed because of all the things that I learned about him and how he has treated women in the past. That's the one example. But even prior to that, or around, maybe it was a few years later, before AEW even existed, Sadie Gibbs was a wrestler who was wrestling in Japan. She made the decision to leave to go home for her grandfather's funeral. And Will Ospreay and his partner at the time was B. Priestley got on Twitter and bullied her. I saw it with my own eyeballs. They bullied her for taking an opportunity in Japan and wasting it to go home and basically saying she wasn't making the sacrifices that she needed to as a wrestler by going home and leaving to go to her grandmother's funeral. Literally was bullying this woman on a public platform. So this is not new for Will. He has done this to women before.
Didn't he go home to a family funeral not too long after?
I believe he did eventually, yes. I believe so.
Am I remembering wrong, or is that true?
No, I believe you're correct. That sounds familiar.
Now that you're saying that, I had forgotten about that incident, but I also remembered because I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Didn't you just hurt somebody else over this exact thing?
Years, yeah, it happened. Yeah, it happened. I believe it was a few years later. And then Sadie was briefly with AEW, and so was B at the time, and B was still with Will, and there was a lot of weird stuff that was happening.
Yeah, I remember
because they were both in the company at the same time. There was both like some ego issues. Like it was a big mess, and this was like 2019, so early days. But there was tension between the two of them because B and Will at the time publicly called her out on social media for everybody to see for that. So this is not new for him. He's had this before, and then he owns, and people think he gets a pass because he's the booker for an all women's promotion, and I think that just makes it worse. Yeah,
because he should know better.
Well, they had that really good show a couple of months ago, and then it turns out it came out that one of the people that he has working the show is his friend who was named during Speaking Out, and he is employed by Pro Wrestling Eve. And yes, there's been some discussion on that, what actually happened with that. But then there was also a couple of years ago, Will refused to work for an indie unless they gave that guy a job, unless they signed that guy to a match. So Will uses his power and has seemingly because of the information, based on the information that is out there, Will Ospreay it seems he has used his power to do things because of who he is. And in some cases that has harmed women in the meantime. So it is it's really frustrating to see. And so I even thought so I was at the Revolution Scrum and Will was there and I was like, oh great, Ospreay is here. And then he was talking, he went, and I thought, I was like, maybe he's grown up. Maybe he's matured. He's in this relationship now. He's she has a kid. Maybe he's grown up a bit. And I chose to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then the stuff with Pro Wrestling Eve happened a few months ago. And now this is happening. And again, it's not specifically about what he said. in the promo. It's his reaction afterwards and the reaction of other men to women in the wrestling space. That is the problem. That should be, and nobody wants to talk about it. And there's no clear-cut answer, but it is something that is very pervasive, where women are constantly attacked if they don't agree with the general population, or as Lyric said, or if they weigh in on any type of thing. If you don't agree with it, then people are in your mentions and they're harassing, they're saying, they're calling people slurs, they're calling them mean names, they're calling them bitches and twats and all of these things. And it's really unfortunate that he inserted himself in a way that opened it up even more. And again, this is somebody who is going to be the face of your company in 2 months, who is jumping into this and is continuing this issue that is happening in this space to women that has happened for a really long time. And people want to defend him because he's a good wrestler, or because they don't. And then if you're not offended by what he said, fine. And I wasn't necessarily offended by it. Wasn't for me, but it was what it was. But it's the aftermath of what happened that I have a problem with.
Well, it's the fact that he's talking to a rando online about it, and then he's doing something that he willfully knows will probably bring ire to that person, because that's the nature of the internet. Right. And Will is too smart of a person who's been online too long to sit here and say that he didn't know that by responding to that he was going to catch more people on that lady's Twitter machine, because that's silly. If you tell me that he didn't believe that, I just don't buy that. I just don't. I don't. Yeah, because he's too smart, and he's been online way longer than I have, and I'm older than him. So, I mean,
it's just unfortunate that it has devolved into what it has been. And like, whether you feel good or bad about the comment, it does not entitle. You're a professional. Stay the freak off the web with like normies. You shouldn't be answering me or Catherine or anybody else. Right. And it's not even the fact of what he said. It's the fact of there are now, like, this is just a constant thing that happens to women in this space. And we have people in the replies who are invalidating experiences that these women are having, which that's your choice. But I can read the comments. I see what you're saying. You're invalidating these women. You're invalidating things that have happened to me personally, which that's on you. That says more about you than me. And if you think that we're being too sensitive, well, then I guess lucky for you. Enough to know better. Lucky for you that you haven't had to experience it that way. Or maybe you just don't care. And you know what? Good for you. But you're not going to invalidate my experience or someone else's experience just because you don't agree. And if you think that we're being too sensitive, then that's fine. That's on you. But I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to tell you about what my experience is and how I view it. That, unfortunately, I've seen it in your mentions, and I've seen it in too many women's mentions. And be able to talk about their experiences. And if you're going to invalidate that in our comments, then that's on you. But you're not going to say that these things didn't happen to me and that I should get over it. No, I've seen what's gone on in Sam's mentions. I've seen what's gone on in other women, whether they speak out politically or about wrestling or about anything. This pattern of behavior is pervasive across every form of Twitter. I have people that I am personally friends with who I watched during many campaigns get told that they hope they got raped and that they hope they got, horrendous things happen to them and all of these things. This devolves. Like what you saw, that was a smattering of where these things end up. Yeah. And 98% of the time, the woman or the person in question who said the thing is the one who gets kicked off Twitter, and not all the people that are threatening that person. Right. And that is a problem too. So, yeah. My friends have been thrown in Twitmo so many times for saying something innocent and then being threatened with violence and all sorts of other things and being called every name and being told every sort of thing in the world. And that person gets thrown off the machine. Not all the people there threatening her with violence and calling her crazy and all of these things. Yeah. Just because if somebody with internal genitalia deign to have an opinion. if you think it's an appropriate response for somebody to be threatened or to be called names or name called because of something they don't agree with, then we have a fundamental difference of opinion on things like that. And so again, I can see your replies. I see what you're saying. And that's on you, and that's a personal thing, but you're not going to invalidate what happened, you know, my experience or Catherine's experience or any other woman's experience because you think we're too soft. Try being, and I know there's women in here who are going to say the same thing and who are going to, you know, they're going to side with patriarchy because, you know, that's
or
what happens.
Even if Alex is okay with it, Alex is okay with it. That I get that boys being that is the boys being boys argument.
It's not about Alex and if she's okay about it. It's the issue here that we are talking about is that women in the wrestling space, anytime they have a difference of opinion about anything, they constantly get shit on. We get threatened. People say, call us names. They say all kinds of things. That is not an appropriate response.
They tell us we can't get a man to do the same thing for us.
A man who has a different opinion, like Lyric says, they'll be like, "Oh, that's okay. We have just a different opinions on it," and they move on. But women are constantly invalidated and threatened, and that is the point that we're getting at here. This has evolved past what Will Ospreay has said, and if Alex is okay with it, even if she is okay with it, that doesn't mean that this person thought that it was derogatory language. And as Crash has said, that this is a part of lad culture in the UK, and that it is a whole attitude that is pervasive. And even I said that to Nikki. I was like, you know, maybe this is because people are going to dismiss it as British humor, and people have. But that's not the point here. The point here
this is the boys being boys argument that they always make right here. And this is a borderless issue. What you call the lad culture, they call boys being boys around these parts. And I've been in sports since I was 5 years old. So believe me when I am telling everyone out there from the bottom of my heart that I, as a female athlete for 30-something years, experienced all sorts of this kind of thing and being in sport and dealing with it. So it's not okay.
And I see a lot of the men who are commenting and saying they have no problem with it. You're not a woman. You don't have a woman's experience. You don't have the same. Our experiences are different. And so you are not going to understand on the way that we are, which is why we are talking about it on our podcast, where there are women, because it is something that we know intimately well. And it's something that we can speak to in a different. And of course, there are women in the chat who don't agree with us. And that's perfectly fine. But once again, this is something that happens a lot with women in wrestling. And yes, it happens to men too. Don't do all that bullshit of not all men. I fucking know that. I know that men get this too, but it is to a different degree as a woman and as a women's wrestling fan. I've been a women's wrestling fan for a very long time. I'm also in the media. I have had a person who has told me to go back to being a fan because he was mad that I was covering the Janel Grant's case. And I do want to point out this. It isn't just an AEW and WWE problem, Maria. It's a problem in wrestling in general. It happens in independent wrestling all the time. It happens with everywhere. It's not just one thing. But my point is that Vince McMahon has trained people for decades to invalidate women. And it still carries over in wrestling to this day. And he is a big part of it. So yes, it is a problem everywhere. It's happening in all companies. And just because AEW is my preferred company doesn't mean I'm not going to call it out when I see it.
No, it doesn't help. It's just, I think it's counterproductive. It's counterproductive.
Right.
And I mean, that's fine. Like, everyone is entitled to their opinion here, but in mine, I just see this too much. And then when I saw, you were right. When I saw what was happening, where he actually, it's my personal opinion. If you're a professional, like, it's like when I see an athlete, like this happened this year for the Detroit Lions. We had a Lion go into the stands after a fan. And I have zero tolerance for this. You're a professional. You make bajillions of dollars. You're a professional ex-player. What are you even doing caring about what that person, I don't care what they said to you. It kind of goes back to Roadhouse. There was a line in Roadhouse where the one guy asked Patrick Swayze, "What if he calls my mom a whore?" And he says, "Is she?" Like, it shouldn't bother you. What do you care? Those are just words. So, but at the same time, okay, like, you're doing a thing that's obviously and clearly, and if you felt confident about saying that,
right?
If Will was cool, he's like, "I told my woman this, I did this, she said do that, I said clean yourself up." That's cool. Then why do you care?
Right.
That a woman had anything to say about it if you're so secure about your man comment that you made that made your mans and your good brothers all out there feel like, yeah, man, get it. Like, then why do you need to say anything to Catherine?
Right.
Why?
And John, I think you're misreading what we're saying here. We are not comparing it to a promo, and it's not a stretch. We're talking about the fact that Will Ospreay, who was about to be the face of a company, took the time to at someone who did not say anything to him directly to say something, not only say something to her, but made a lot of his fans come in and say horrible things. That is my point here, is that he's progressing what's happening by
perpetuating it by being a participant in
right.
The whole
He's
thing.
making things worse, and so it's not conflating it, and I think you're misunderstanding what we're saying here. I'm not comparing what we're saying is that he took things too far by getting involved and then his fans followed through, and they have continued to harass her for days. They're harassing anybody on social media who I've seen it with my own eyeballs, and they're in other people's mentions for anybody who said, "Hey, I didn't like that." They're saying things in their mentions, and that is the point of what we're saying here, is that that he as this person he knows that his power, and this happens with wrestlers all the time, where they say something and they know their little stands are going to jump in the comments and say stuff for them and to say stuff to defend them, and they're going to say some of the most vile things. And if you don't have a problem with that, fine. But once again, this is what we're trying to tell you, what we're seeing, and it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Well, and for us, it's a pattern of behavior. We're naming a pattern of behavior that, as women, we largely experience out in the world. You may not like that that's true. We don't like that it's true. I don't want to speak for Sam or any of the other ladies, but I'm pretty sure that all my ladies in sisterhood here are sick and tired of hearing all the tropish crap that we have to put up with, and are sick and tired of being told to go do that, or why did we let you out of here, or what were you wearing, or boys being boys, or all of the myriads of things that I've heard over and over and over, because I've worked even in male-dominated fields before, and I have to, okie dokie, yep, bud, you said that funny man being man's thing, and it's all cool. And that's great if that's what we want the next generations to have going forward. But I personally think that pattern of behavior, that trauma, needs to be a broken pattern. And the only way to break that pattern is to call it out and name it and say, when a person is willing to say something like that, and they're okay with it, and their wife's okay with it now, and that's fine, then he didn't need to go on the interwebs and do anything. He could have walked away like a grown-ass man who's a professional, who's getting paid a fuckload of money. Let's be honest. Yeah. Will Ospreay does not need to be spending any time on the internet. He's making money. He's going and working. He's a huge star. He doesn't need to be on there. That's for little kids and people like me who have nothing better to do with their time. Like,
even if it is, he just didn't have to be. So there was no need to say anything to her, because like Nikki said, he was being dismissive.
He just didn't need to get involved. He could have stayed off the interwebs, and all those people could have probably, I'm not saying that they wouldn't have ended up in her mentions in the first place.
Right.
But it sure as shit didn't help that the famous guy jumped on board.
Right. And as Curry had said, it was the promo tacky and a little tasteless. This wasn't considered on Ospreay for the fan to at the fan. The fan has the right to voice their opinion. Ospreay should have known better than to respond with his fan base, especially. And a lot of wrestlers tend to do that. We saw it with Ricochet, and we see it all the time. It happens with wrestlers all the time.
What do you care? You're making $1 million.
The point is that they are they're adding a fire to...
They're pouring accelerant onto a fire they know will start.
Yeah.
They know it.
Yes. And then
Will
people
has
keep
been
making the
online.
comments,
He
oh, we
knows.
shouldn't be talking about this. We shouldn't be talking about this. Well, this happens on a daily basis.
Will
all
has
the time.
admitted online, I've seen this with my own eyeballs. Will has admitted online he should spend less time online. Will needs to take his own advice and spend way fucking less time online. Because if he's only going to spend his time doing stuff like this, he's going to make me mad. I love Will Ospreay. I saw Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay fight each other in Toronto. That's one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't mean that this kind of behavior is cool with me.
And again, I think the issue is that another issue is that Ospreay has done this several times over the
Pattern
years.
of behavior.
Particularly, it is a pattern of behavior. It is a pattern with women, and that is definitely something to, if you're at the very least, make note of. If it's not something you care about, then fine. It is, whatever. But for me, because he was somebody I was a really big fan of, and I do enjoy his work. But to see that the way that this has been a pattern of the way he talks to women is a little concerning. And it is something that makes me less interested in things that he does.
The test will be how much shit we take in our socials this week for saying this on our podcast. That'll be the real
I'm
test.
sure
because that would just prove the point, wouldn't it?
What they want, but
wouldn't it prove the point? I mean, doesn't that people think they're original? I mean, I hate to say it.
Well, they prove their point to Catherine. I mean, that's exactly what she said.
Well, no, you popped that. I was just going to say, when you pop those up there, I hate to say it, but literally all of that, I am a master. My friends think I'm hilarious because they'll give me a comment and I can just do the comment. They'll give me a tweet. It's kind of like playing charades. They'll just throw a tweet prompt at me and I'll just tell them what the comment section are going to say behind it, because people think they're original, but they're so effing predictable that I can tell you exactly what the first, second, and third thing in the comments, at least almost to the sixth thing that the next person is going to say, starting with blaming the victim and then working your way down.
Yeah.
That's how the interwebs work. Will knows if I, at my age, older than that dude by a bit, know that and can figure that one out, he sure as hell can too. So
he can figure it out, but I don't think he cares.
Well, and herein lies the problem.
He doesn't care.
Stay up. You're a grown-up. You make a lot of money. You're a professional athlete, for a lack of a way of saying it. And it's the same way I feel about when I see baseball guys doing it, basketball guys doing it, football guys doing it. Stay out of the stands. This is the same thing. This is digital stands. You just went into the digital stands and started a ruckus. Cut it out. Get out of the stands. What do you care? You're a star.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
so
me.
It's just, but yeah, it is a conversation I felt that we needed
you
to
are
have.
Entitled to yours.
If you think we're being, nobody is calling her a victim, Maria. Nobody's saying that.
Alex
I think I don't know if you are intentionally being obtuse about what we're saying, but that's not at all what we're saying. I don't know how to make it any more clear on this. I mean, I really don't know how else.
I don't think Alex is a victim. I think that the language.
No one ever said that. I don't know where. Nobody in this chat said it. Catherine did not say it. No one has said that. I don't know how else to make this clear. And if you want to defend Will Ospreay, that's your choice. But nobody is calling her a victim.
No.
Nobody here in this anyway.
No.
I've seen other people say it, but nobody here is calling her a victim. And we're not calling nobody is a victim. We are talking about the culture that happens specifically in this instance, in the wrestling space, of how women are treated when they have a difference of opinion, which is what is happening right now.
Unfortunately, I think that even having the conversation and seeing the reaction, it kind of makes the entire point, is that.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I
don't like it when people, I'm a Will Ospreay fan. I'm not a fan of the language. But if I say that online, I should not be subjected to torment.
Right.
And I know everyone's going to blame Catherine for going online and saying anything. I disagree. I think Will Ospreay should be staying off the interwebs. He's a professional. He makes a way more money. You don't see Jamie Dimon going on the interwebs right now and talking to people. You don't see the Fed chairman on the interwebs. You don't see the CEOs of healthcare companies on the interwebs. This is no different, in my opinion. Stay off. What do you care? Yeah. The interwebs is for us poors and us plebes who either need each other because we're chronically online because we have a situation where we can't be as functional in the society because we're institutionally poor or whatever, or just people that are looking to have some fun. But if you're going to be on a talk, like if you're going to be in there and you're going to defend the toxic space portion of the program,
John, we're not complaining about Will Ospreay. I'm saying I don't know how to make this more clear to you or anybody else. This started because of Will. If anybody else had said it, if Swerve had said it, if Kenny had said it, we'd still be talking about it.
I would be mad if anyone had said it.
That Will Ospreay has a pattern of talking about women like this. He has a pattern of going online and bullying women. That is the point. I am trying to tell you why this is an issue with Will Ospreay specifically, but then it leads into a bigger issue, which is the discussion that we're having. That is my point. I don't know how to make it any more clear. If you still aren't getting it, then you're just not going to.
And honestly, I don't want to belabor the point too much because you end up engaging in the same sort of behavior that perpetuates what's going on with Catherine and with any other woman who's been in there. Right. And with yourself. And I mean, Sam isn't just like talking out of her ass here, folks. I've seen Sam's mentions after she deigns to put up a woman's match being timed and only getting a certain amount. And she's literally just posting this woman versus this woman got this much time. And then 8 million people come into her mentions and have to tell her how stupid she is and where she should get off and that she needs to go get a man and give her a whole bunch of the things that are in it. I mean, guys, I've seen it. I've watched it happen to my co-hosts in real time. Myself and other people have gone so far as to fruitlessly defend her because even though we know that fighting trolls is a pointless endeavor, Sam is an intelligent woman who has done an incredible amount of work, and her background literally is following speaking out. So, and she's one of the few people aside, like Brandon Thurston, John Alba, BJ Bethel, and Samantha Schipman have been covering and Jim Valley but Sam have been covering Janel's story harder, louder, and more comprehensively than any human being. So if you're not going to listen to me, listen to Sam. She takes it pretty much every week in her mentions, just like poor Catherine did this week. And that's without somebody on Will Ospreay's level even getting involved.
Right. But apparently we're just complaining about Will.
No, I mean, that's fine if that's how you want to see that. That's people right now they're going to hear what they want to hear. They're going to hear it how they want to hear it. You're going to run it through your filter and you're going to pick your team, and that's up to you. Our value system is what we are talking about right here. I'm talking about my values. Sam's talking about her values. This is how we feel this was handled. This is how we feel it came across. This is how we feel as ladies. We're also ladies. So we have opinions about how we get treated because me for 40 plus years, I'm almost on my 5th decade, friends. I've been treated a lot of ways as a lady. And I don't like seeing this behavior because I have a niece. I have young people in my life. I have friends. I have myself. I just think we should be treating women better than this in 2026 all the way around. And that kind of behavior just speaks to a larger problem in our society where we do that. And then a guy says something and then we go, it's just boys being boys. And I mean, we end up in the situation we're in. This speaks to our leadership and how much it has affected the brains of the people in this nation and how they think it's okay for a certain group of people to speak to half the population. We make up half the population. We should probably be listened to equitably.
Yeah, but we're complaining about Will Ospreay, so
that's okay.
That invalidates what we're saying, apparently. And if that's what you took from it, that's what you took from it. But that's not that's not where it was. He was the catalyst for it. Had it come out of anyone else's mouth and he had caused, and somebody else had, another wrestler had caused the same type of reaction, we would be talking about them. It's not because it's specifically Will Ospreay.
You know what? I hate it. Can we not with the whataboutism? Let's just talk about what Will did.
Oh no, but we have to.
But we don't have to. Everyone else
no,
is welcome to.
I know.
But in my opinion, let's stop. We are going to stop with the whataboutism, because that is an endless cycle. That's a snake eating itself, and that is trolling. I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinion on how this came off, but the bottom line is that you have heard ours, and this is where we stand. And that's great, but I wouldn't talk about my brand new bride like that.
And again, that's
to anybody.
The bigger issue here is not what Will said. It's on TV.
The stuff that happened.
What he did afterwards, which has then devolved into all of this other stuff. This has nothing. That's where this started. It snowballed from Will Ospreay's behavior after.
We turn this into a super political issue, guys.
Yes.
I really don't.
That happened. Yes, this is so true. That a lot of fans have a weird parasocial urge to defend celebrities like they're their friends. And they don't.
These guys are millionaires and billionaires. They do not care about you. And when you simp for them,
a lot of them don't even know you exist.
Well, I would say this:
but again,
when you simp for them, they appreciate your contribution.
You know that we can see you when you say these things. When you reply on Twitter, do you know that we can see you? Yes, we can.
This is a rough time, and it's unfortunate. And on a weekend where people are, being your true self means everybody.
Yeah.
And that means everybody needs to be treated the same equitable. I mean, parity. I mean, I don't know. I worked with children. I would never throw some weird thing about kids out there and feel comfortable about it. Like, I just wouldn't. It would be too weird for me. So and again, in the end of the day, Will has a platform. Yeah. And that's the truth. And he used it. And how he used it was up to him, but he used it, and the result was not awesome for a lady. No. And that's the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess that's where we're gonna
I know, but
we've covered everything. I think we've said a lot of what we want to say. You guys have said what you wanted to say. And I think that's pretty much, I think we've covered everything. And we have a pay-per-view to get to next week that we will be here to get you excited for the really big show that is including there's a lot going on next Sunday. Not only is it Forbidden Door, but TNA has Slammiversary in the afternoon. Then WWE decided that NXT's Great American Bash is also going to be on next Sunday. I believe it is on at the same time as Forbidden Door. So there's a ton of wrestling next week or next Sunday, and lots of companies will be represented, especially because Forbidden Door is obviously AEW, ROH, CMLL, Stardom, and New Japan. So there's a lot going on next week. But we will, it will be interesting to see how Dynamite is with how this Dynamite. It will be interesting to see how this, Fernando, now that you say that, it will be interesting to see how Dynamite compares to Forbidden Door, because at this point,
it's so stacked. I hope he doesn't.
Is the pay-per-view card.
I hope this isn't one of the regional playoffs with the state cup situations kind of deal.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Yeah, that's been a question. That's been I think I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I believe that Paul and Jeff this week, they have a clip from their podcast talking about, has AEW outgrown the what was the way they worded it? Was it themed podcast or not a podcast episode pay-per-view? It was like I don't think it was themed. It was I think they use a different word that escapes me at the moment. But that's a discussion that's been held a lot that I've seen. Is it time to take a break because it's becoming so AEW heavy, right. And it's not the inter-brand thing, which I would prefer it to be. As a fan of New Japan, I don't see, and even the little bit I do see of CMLL, Stardom is unfortunately not one that I've been able to spend time on, but I would prefer like the original, what it was supposed to be. Like it did. I like the inner rival stuff. I like the stuff that Suji is doing because clearly it's setting up and that's kind of what this is supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I took from most of that.
It's supposed to be AEW versus New Japan. It's supposed to be that, and it's not been that way really. It's been an AEW heavy card, and which is why I wonder if Visas did play a role in it, or if this is just Tony as head booker. And like, I don't necessarily like that. I think had the Owen tournament, had it been like maybe it was supposed to have been 3 in the finals, or perhaps even Persephone. Obviously, she ended up being cleared, or even Hazuki. Like, you could have done that and done one of those finals on Forbidden Door, and it would have been okay. But I don't care for the AEW versus AEW matches, and we'll talk more about it next week. But even like, that's what made me wonder if it is maybe Visha issues, because like John Moxley is wrestling Bandito, who is associated with CMLL, but he's an AEW talent. The same thing with the Dogs. The Dogs they were in New Japan, but they are an AEW talent now. But you have them on this card in this AEW match, and it's not technically. So that's why I wonder. Some of it I do wonder if the Visas had any role in this, or if it's more of this is an AEW card, and we're gonna book mostly AEW matches, which I don't like.
Yeah,
which I have not liked for the last few years.
Ditto, Nikki.
Which we'll talk about that more, of course, next week. That's interesting. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I get it. However, I'm not mad at it, and I do know that Mercedes. I mean, I think it's just maybe it's because it feels obvious that Mercedes is going to win, beat Tekla, and so I don't really have an issue with it in that sense. But I do like, of course, I want Mercedes versus Athena too. Like, that is the match that I think we deserve, and it deserves a good place. But now, does it happen for the title? Does Mercedes win? Does Athena help Mercedes win so that she ensures that she gets a title shot from Mercedes? So perhaps it's that way, but I understand the sentiment for sure. Crash said that there's a noticeable attempt to focus more on interpromotional this year. They've also added CMLL and Stardom in the last 2 years. It's not been just a static frame. From what I have seen, people who are New Japan fans only and not really AEW fans, this card is not necessarily making them want to buy the pay-per-view because it is so AEW heavy. And so for me, as a person who watches both, I think the card looks pretty good. But I can understand as a New Japan or maybe a Stardom fan, like, this may not be a pay-per-view you want to spend money on. And that can be an issue.
And that happens. I mean,
when it's branded as a multi-promotion pay-per-view, you should want all of the fans from all of those promotions to want to buy or to purchase your pay-per-view.
That's
Michael
too.
thinks that they should take a break from New Japan because AEW has found more New Japan talent and they've been able to replace, give them a few years off and focus on Stardom and then CMLL. It would be a bold win. I just don't see it happening. If it wasn't for the All-In match, like it would be huge for Maya to wrestle at Wembley. I just don't think that's where we're going. I think that was just to get here. And Crash, as we're discussing the need to build new stars in the women's division since they've lost some of their heavy hitters again. Fernando, I've wondered that if Jay returns next week.
That'd be awesome.
It seems like a really good place for him. Austin has been hinting at it, but I can't tell if they're going to do it there or if they're going to wait till All In. But if he's cleared now, I would bring him back at Forbidden Door. It makes the most sense because of giving his history with New Japan. I think he should. That's the match I'm looking forward to the most, is Kenny versus Sabre. Big Man says, I've watched every AEW pay-per-view since Double or Nothing 2024. Might pick this one out and cherry pick matches the next day. And see, these are valid things that are coming out of this pay-per-view. And I think that is something they're going to have to, specifically Tony, but even Tanahashi at this point, because and Gato, having to fly them in and things like that, and getting them on TV. That's, of course, that's been an issue with TV. I think that was an issue last year with TV, was getting Japanese talent on TV ahead of time. And sometimes they couldn't because of booking things, because of tournaments, because of this or that. And so there were reasons that hindered that. And that definitely makes it harder. And like you said, a lot of New Japan talent has signed with AEW. So it's a little bit different than it was when the pay-per-view initially started. So is this something that you take a break from, or revamp it where the pay-per-view traditionally has been AEW X New Japan Presents. So it is presented that way. I mean, you could, I suppose, change it to AEW X Stardom Presents. I don't know if there's a contract in place with that. Like, were there supposed to be 10 of them? Or, I don't know if that's a factor into any of it. But that'll be really interesting. Michael says, I would have definitely bought this one if Athena versus Mercedes is on my card. I mean, that's fair. I'm really excited for Mercedes versus Nia. I think it's going to be a fantastic match. But I also am a huge Athena fan. And that match is definitely something you would buy a pay-per-view for. So I can understand that. Fernando says, what about Hangman coming back next week with his name? Yeah, that's definitely really interesting. I don't know if they're bringing him back at a pay-per-view, or maybe wait till something like a beach break, or the July 1st show is in California. That's the one where they're naming the new TBS champion. So you could do maybe beach break. I have noticed they are mentioning him a lot. So it seems like he's coming back soon. Forbidden Door but Forbidden Door is so packed, and if Jay White, for example, is coming back, like, I would probably hold Hangman off for something else. So maybe Big Man says he can't remember why he skipped Double or Nothing 2024, just didn't feel it. Hey, it happens. Save your money.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
save your money. But I am subscribed to my AEW, so now I got the pay-per-view package, so it includes them in there for free. I think he posted, I didn't see it on Blue Sky, but I saw somebody mention it. I think he posted something about bees in his garden the other day.
That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure.
A cowboy after our own heart.
Crush said the Bang Bang Gang segment cracked me up, so I'm not sure why they went with the Outrunners 80s filter.
It was just fun.
I think they were just trying to do, I guess it was supposed to be.
They were doing one of those old ads. It was supposed
to be like an infomercial type thing.
Yeah, it reminded me of one of those old ads that people would make locally.
Yeah.
Are really kind of off. They just don't quite meet that. It just reminds me of an old ad that like some local dealer made, that they were like, come to our place.
Like a card. Yeah, it was definitely
like a dealership or a carpet place or any of the various services where it's like, me and my family just made this commercial because we can't afford a production company.
So it will be really interesting to see. There's so much stuff on my AEW now, and I'm excited about I don't know if it's pronounced Produce or Produce. I think it's Produce TV. I'm really excited about those shows that are coming. You have to be a subscriber, but to watch those shows, you have to either pay per show or you can buy a $50 season pass, but there's going to be 6 shows of theirs, and 4 of them are curated by wrestlers. The first one is June 29th, and that one is there's 4 matches curated by Jonathan Gresham, and then there's other matches on the card, but when a wrestler is curating for that show, they curate 4 matches. So Jonathan Gresham is doing the first one. Then Joey Janela is curating one, Rocky Romero is curating one, and then blanking on the other one. And then there's a show, Produce 3 is happening in Montreal the same day as Redemption. And so that seems interesting, that perhaps some Stardom women who are staying over here, they're on that card. So that was kind of an interesting thing. And then the other one that's not curated, that one I think is happening. It's been like 3 weeks since I've written the article. And so now I'm forgetting what it was. But anyway, I'm really excited for what they're doing. The card for the show on the 29th is stacked. Like, it's insane the amount of matches that are going to be on that card. So yeah, there's a ton of good stuff on there. Ghostbusters say it was kind of a Ghostbusters like skit. It's really interesting. And also, was it House of Glory that announced that the last Friday show was the last one on Triller, and they're moving off. So basically, at this point, Triller basically just has. I mean, I think there's a few other things, but mostly GCW is all that's left on Triller because they're leaving.
Yeah, they sent me a notification saying that they were ending their services for just about everything. So I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Zach is on. Is Zach on the produce card? Yes, that's where he's wrestling Darian Binkston, I believe.
Nice.
Which I cannot wait. Darian Binkston has been wrestling for Ospreay, and he does catch for catch matches basically. So they're basically technical wrestling, cool. And his matches are very good. And he's next Saturday is Ospreay's next show. Oh, which by the way will be free on YouTube.
Oh, nice!
It'll be live on YouTube next Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And it is they're gonna have the first ever. They're Ospreay's first ever 30-man battle royale to determine the number one contender for the men's title. Caprice is challenging Mr. Darius Carter for the Ospreay Men's Championship. Charity is defending her title against Jordan Blade. Yes, Jordan Blade. Jania's who she wrestled last time. There is a tag. TNA is putting their tag titles against Ugly Gang. Ugly Gang were cost the titles a few months ago. Very much looking forward to that one. Darian versus Lee Moriarty is on this card. I feel like I'm forgetting something. But go watch Ospreay. They subscribe to Ospreay Wrestling on YouTube, but they will be doing it. They're streaming for free next week. If you're in the Charlotte area and can come, please come. But if you cannot, highly recommend checking it out because that's going to be a really great show. I'm so excited for that show next week. And I didn't think about that. I want to say it was Hog Wrestling. Watch, it was probably some other promotion, but God, I didn't think about that. Michael, gross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. So I think for real we're gone this time. But thank you for listening. Even if your opinions are different than ours, we appreciate you at least hearing us out. We will be back next week to again maybe get you hyped for the Forbidden Door card. Maybe not.
Maybe we'll have things to talk about.
You can come listen and see if we get our predictions right, because sometimes we're not so good at those.
Yeah, sometimes we're way off and sometimes we're dead on. So
yeah.
Right on.
So please do. But yes, please go check out Ospreay next Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, because Nikki and I will be there and we'll come weigh in. But yes, so come next week. Maybe we'll get you hyped. Maybe we'll just get predictions wrong.
Either way, we appreciate it.
Either way, we'll see you next week at our normal time.
Bye.